He was known as the worst in his class and ended up awakening as a summoner, the weakest class of all. But somehow he scored a ridiculously overpowered demonic slime and 2 hot companions. This guy's living the dream. Even the slimes got curves. It all starts 1,000 years ago when beasts from a dark abyss descended upon the human world, bringing chaos. With that, the appearance of mysterious monuments brought humanity a glimmer of hope for survival. Since then, humans have been granted the power of classes by the monuments and began a desperate fight against the creatures. After leveling up continuously, humanity finally managed to push the beasts back into the abyss and protect their territory. From then on, the Huaxi Empire established its cities on the sites of the 9 monuments, and an annual test began to select students for the front lines. But the beasts still move in the shadows, and to truly defeat them, they still need the strength of the youth. In year 53, it's the day of the class transfer at the Monument Branch in Lintian City. A man announces to the students that the ceremony is about to begin, and the monument will assign classes based on their individual talents. He continues his speech saying that it doesn't matter if they become combat or support types, as they must contribute to the nation and the future is in their hands. One of the students gets excited, saying that after 18 years of studying, he'll finally awaken and hopes for a combat class to make some good money. His friend reminds him that being a warrior isn't that easy, as the school only has a 50% success rate in generating combat classes. At that moment, they look to the side and see Lin Tianhao, the school's laziest student, sleeping, and start making fun of him, saying a beast tamer would be the perfect class for him. Just then, the MC slowly opens his eyes. He is Lin Tianhao, the worst student in the school, and thinks that the class transfer day has finally arrived after he crossed over into this world. A boy approaches and asks him what class he's aiming for, and Tianhao replies that his goal is an S-rank talent or a hidden class. The bullies nearby overhear this and burst out laughing, mocking him for dreaming so big and reminding him that his last potential assessment was a C. A screen with his stats appears, showing his low scores in everything, and the guy thinks that with this grade he's basically hopeless in this life. However, with a determined look, he wonders who says a peasant can't rise from the ashes like a phoenix. The young man has already crossed over to another world, so he believes another miracle can happen and just hopes to get a good job. Next, a woman on stage calls the students from class 2 to come up for the class transfer, starting to call them by name. The first to be called is Wang Dong, a total meathead who thinks he's the best in the class. He walks past the MC and tells the loser to watch how a real man changes his class. Upon reaching the monument, a woman explains that the process takes about 5 seconds and feeling discomfort is normal. As soon as he touches the stone, a very strong golden light begins to shine with several energy beams. Guided by the divine light, the bully's class transfer was a success. With a celebratory shout, he cheers with clenched fists because he managed to become a warrior. But his excitement dims a bit when he finds out his talent is only C rank. Even so, a woman congratulates him and says that C rank is already great and instructs him to go to the guild center to train. Some girls are impressed by his physique, while other students are envious that he landed a guaranteed job. Back in the crowd, the big guy shows off to the MC and purposely bumps his shoulder. He pretends he didn't see Lin Tianhao there, calling him trash, and the MC thinks that things are only going to get worse for him now. The bullies group surrounds the guy, but Wang Dong says he's in a good mood and invites his friends for a drink at the tavern. Watching them leave, the MC wonders how a bully became a warrior and what his own class will be. Meanwhile, the meathead's friends mock Lin Tianhao, saying he'll never be on Wang Dong's level. Suddenly, the announcer calls the next person on the list, who is none other than Lin Tianhao, for his class transfer. Without hesitation, the young man raises his arm and walks towards the stage, determined to change his fate. Standing before the monument, he thinks that any class will do, as long as it's a combat type. He's quite anxious, and with trembling hands, he just hopes to get a good class. Then, the MC extends his arm and finally touches the cold surface of the sacred monument. In that same instant, a powerful yellow energy begins to flow from the stone directly into his hand. An explosion of golden energy erupts from the monument, enveloping the MC in powerful lightning. Lin Tianhao wonders if this light is the turning point he has been waiting for in his life. The announcer and the other man are shocked, as it seems they recognize what is happening. The energy wave is so strong that the two are forced to take a few steps back to avoid being hit. The woman then approaches and says that everyone has their own destiny, and asks the young man to mentally prepare himself for his class. With a look of shock and disappointment, the guy discovers he has become a summoner. The bullies burst out laughing, as this is a garbage class with high costs and mediocre results. But suddenly, a blue light envelops Tianhao's body, and a host awakening is detected. Right after, a notification appears, linking his identity to that of an Abyssal Lord and granting a random SS rank talent. The screen explains that the Abyssal Lord system will activate a random SS rank talent for every 10 levels he gains. The MC can't believe it and wonders if he really got a system and an SS rank talent right off the bat. He calculates that upon reaching level 100, he will have 10 SS rank talents, becoming extremely powerful in the future. The woman then hands him his class card, not understanding the light that surrounded him. While holding the card, a new system message warns that the SS rank talent lottery is in progress. And to his surprise, the system congratulates him on obtaining the SS rank talent ability called Demonic Sacrifice. The ability allows him to permanently sacrifice his maximum HP to level up a summoned creature and give it infernal power. The guy gets a little worried about the part of losing max HP permanently, but he thinks that as a summoner, he doesn't need to fight on the front lines and can focus on equipment that increases his health. The system then specifies that for every 100 max HP sacrificed, the summoned creature gains 1 level. He does the math and realizes that with his 1000 HP, he can get a summon to level 9 immediately. Even with his new power, the MC thinks he shouldn't take too many risks and needs to use it carefully. A female teacher tries to cheer him up, telling him not to be discouraged because there are other paths in life. He thanks the teacher for her concern and confidently states that he believes he can make something of himself. In the crowd, other students comment that since he became a summoner, he might as well go home and rethink his future. The guy knows his class is seen as trash by everyone, but that doesn't faze him one bit. With a determined look, he walks on and declares to himself that he will become the greatest summoner at the top of this world. A few hours later, at his house, a girl greets him and asks how the transfer went and what class he got. With a worried expression, the girl, wrapped in a towel, asks if it's the class everyone calls trash. The guy simply nods as she gently dries him with another towel. She tries to cheer him up, telling him not to be sad because next year she will become a mage to protect him. The young man feels a bit awkward with her closeness and the way she's dressed, so he throws the towel in her face and says that his summoner class is very strong and she should protect herself. The girl complains that he's treating her like a child, and the MC asks her to leave him alone for a while. Suddenly, he receives a message on his phone summoning all students who changed classes for a meeting. Not understanding why, the guy decides to go to the school to see what this unexpected call is about. In the classroom, the teacher talks about the class results, which were 5 warriors, 8 mages, 11 supports, and only 1 summoner. The bullies laugh at Tianhao, saying that a useless person ended up with a useless class and that his life is basically over. The teacher then says that the MC's case is special and hands him a beginner's guide for summoners. The teacher also tells the boy to find him if he has any problems and asks him to return to his seat. Seeing how thick the book was, the guy thinks that being a summoner really is rock bottom. The teacher explains that the meeting is to collect data, and outside we see a strange machine. The man then announces that they will start the professional aptitude test to measure everyone's strength. One of the new mages excitedly volunteers to be the first to test his skills. He casts a powerful spell that hits the target with a blast of blue energy. The panel shows 73 points, a decent score that indicates promising talent. Next up is Wang Dong, who with his flaming sword delivers a devastating blow. His score is impressive, reaching 89 points. The bully is proud, as this score probably puts him at the top of his entire year. The teacher then calls the next on the list, who is Lin Tianhao, the only summoner in the class. The guy looks at the target and thinks that he's only seen the summoning spell in the book and has never practiced it. With little choice, he flips through the book and decides to take a leap of faith, hoping everything works as it should. Then he recites the magic words he learned from the summoner's guide. White smoke begins to rise from the ground and a strong gust of wind forms around him. The teachers and students are surprised by the powerful reaction of the spell. Everyone wonders if he actually managed to summon anything and what it could be. Amidst the smoke, something small and fluffy appears, hopping adorably. The MC is in shock when he sees that his first summon is a simple blue slime. The other students can't hold it in and burst out laughing, mocking the cute and harmless creature. The little monster clings to its master's leg, who can't believe the creature he summoned. The status screen shows that the slime has 500 HP and only 9 attack power. The MC gets annoyed with the slime because with only 9 attack power, it's completely useless. The teacher tells everyone to quiet down and look at the test score. The scoreboard then shows the ridiculous score of just 9 points, leaving everyone surprised. Awkwardly, the teacher announces that the score was 9, and the class starts laughing. He tries to console Lin Tianhao, telling him not to be discouraged, but the mocking continues. However, the guy doesn't give up and asks the teacher for one more chance, and the teacher agrees. The young man then decides it's time to test his SS-ranked talent ability, Demonic Sacrifice. A confirmation screen appears, and he decides to start by sacrificing 200 HP to see what happens. The crowd watches, not understanding what he's doing, thinking that 100 tries wouldn't change anything. With that, his max HP drops from 1000 to 800, and a dark red energy envelops the slime. The small creature begins to transform in a bizarre and frightening way, changing color. The bullies and other students are completely shocked by what they are seeing. The transformation ends, revealing a much larger and more menacing demonic slime than before. The MC looks on in surprise at his new summon, wondering if that is really the demonized slime. The status screen shows it is now level 3, with 1200 HP and 120 attack power. With a serious and confident look, the guy points to the target and orders his creature to attack. The demonic slime charges at high speed towards the testing machine, ready to strike. It hits the target with a devastating impact, causing a huge explosion. The force of the blow is so intense that it cracks the surface of the testing machine with ease. The scoreboard begins to flash frantically, trying to register the absurd score of the attack. The testing machine starts to emit smoke and red sparks as the crowd watches in silence. Everyone present, including the teachers and even Wang Dong, is completely shocked by what happened. Then the scoreboard finally stops and reveals the unbelievable score of 120 points. The teacher and the other students panic, unable to believe that the worst student in the class got such a high score. The bully becomes furious and refuses to accept that the useless loser scored higher than him. The teacher recalls that not even the god of war of Huaxia scored above 101 points and begins to suspect cheating. With that, the other students also accuse the MC of cheating, as the score change was too suspicious. The guy thinks to himself that he did alter the result, but only by using his ability on the slime. The teacher considers the student's point and looks at Lin Tianhao with suspicion. He then walks towards the young man, who immediately claims that he did not cheat in any way. When they look at the machine, they see that the screen is completely bugged and glitching. The scoreboard now shows only a colorful, distorted screen, confirming that something is wrong. After analyzing the situation for a moment, the teacher seems to reach a conclusion. He raises his hand and announces to everyone that the machine is broken and that Lin Tianhao did not cheat. Wang Dong gets all smug, saying it was obvious the machine broke because the loser would never beat him. The other students then ask what the valid score would be, and everyone agrees it should be 9. The teacher decides to void the guy's result and says he can retake the test at another opportunity. The entire class starts to protest, demanding that the first score be kept and accusing the teacher of favoritism. But a man intervenes and says that he will be the judge, and since the machine broke, today's test is over. In the crowd, one of the bullies with red eyes gives a discreet signal to Wang Dong. The big guy glares at the young man while his sidekick whispers something in his ear. Wang Dong then approaches Lin Tianhao and taunts him, saying that even if he retakes the test, he'll still be trash. He and his group turn their backs, and the big guy says they're heading to the Black Abyss level 1. The MC hears this and thinks that this beginner's dungeon is the perfect place to test his demonic slime, and so he decides to follow the group of bullies to the low-level dungeon. Meanwhile, some technicians analyze the broken machine and wonder if a student really damaged it. One of them is impressed by the force of the impact and raises the possibility that the school has produced a new genius. Later, in front of a gate, the MC encounters a mysterious old woman. She approaches him and says that based on his physique, he seems to be an excellent candidate to become a summoner. The guy finds the line very familiar and asks if she's talking to him. The old woman then offers him a high-quality summoner's staff for only 300 gold coins. The young man is outraged by the price and accuses the old woman of trying to rip him off with a piece of wood. She insists that the price is a bargain because if it were someone else, she would sell it for 1,000. As he holds the staff, he feels an immense power flowing from the object, and his eyes light up. Thinking about the lack of equipment for his rare class, he decides it might be worth buying. The MC agrees to buy the staff, and the elderly woman confirms the price of 300 gold coins. But upon checking his bag, he realizes he only has 92 gold coins at the moment. Embarrassed, the guy asks if the lady could give him a discount and accept the 92 coins. The old woman then snatches the money from his hand and says she'll accept it as a deposit. She explains that if he wants the staff, he'll have to go to the Black Abyss and bring back a specific treasure from there. The MC panics and wonders if he just accepted a quest from an NPC without realizing it. The old woman hands him a note and says he will understand everything when he reaches the deepest part of the maze. She then forces his hand to leave a thumbprint on a promissory note to seal the deal. With the fingerprint on the paper, the contract between them is officially sealed. The lady smiles and bids him farewell, telling him not to forget their agreement, leaving the young man looking dumbfounded. Just then, the teacher appears and asks Elder Fang what he is doing there. The teacher informs him that the tests have been suspended and asks if he knows the student who just left. He confirms that Lin Tianhao is his student and laments that he became a summoner. The elder agrees that his path will be difficult, but flashes a mysterious and confident smile. Arriving at the entrance of Black Abyss Level 1, the MC is greeted by a mountainous and icy landscape. The place, known as the Cold Valley Abyss, has an imposing structure with a purple portal in the center. He gazes in awe at the giant portal, imagining the challenges that await him inside. An information screen appears, explaining that the dungeon requires a party of 3 to 5 people to enter. The guy is frustrated because it seems he won't be able to enter alone to test his new powers. He then notices a speedrun ranking and sees that first place receives generous rewards. The reward for first place is a beginner's chest plate that increases armor, magic resistance, and HP. What catches his eye the most is the bonus of 120 max HP. The young man concludes that it's worth competing for first place to get that incredible piece of equipment. Suddenly, he's approached by a group of adventurers who recognize him as the 9-point guy. They taunt him and tell him to go home instead of trying to enter a dangerous dungeon. With a cold look, the MC tells the group to mind their own business and leave him alone. One of them reminds him that it takes 3 people to enter and doubts he'll be able to form a party. The big guy then announces that he has a C-rank warrior and 2 E-rank mages looking for a group. The news spreads, and everyone gets excited about the presence of a strong warrior. Soon, a crowd forms around them, with several adventurers begging to join the party. The warrior points to 2 lucky people in the crowd and chooses them to complete his team. One of the new members brags about the warrior's strength and reveals they're aiming for the top of the rankings. They assure him they won't slow the group down and are excited about the chance to clear the dungeon quickly. With the party formed, they enter the portal, ready to face the challenges of the Black Abyss. Upon entering, they find the remains of someone who wasn't so lucky in the dungeon. The group is terrified to see the bones scattered across the dungeon floor. One of the more experienced members warns them to stick together because if they fall behind, they'll meet the same fate. With a confident smile, the group leader orders everyone to move forward through the dungeon. Meanwhile, the MC watches the portal from a distance and reflects on the situation. He knows that Wang Dong and his companions are not good people, and the newbies probably won't survive. The guy remembers that although resurrection is possible, the cost is very high. With that, he projects his status screen showing his S-rank talent and ability for all to see. An adventurer is impressed to see the S-rank, but his friend reminds him that it's useless if the class is a summoner. The group that was previously interested gives up upon learning the guy's class and leaves him alone again. In the end, the MC remains isolated, unable to find anyone willing to join him. He then spots a girl named Li Shu, an E-rank bard who can't cast effective buffs. From her expression, the MC realizes that the girl has been waiting for a party for several days. With that, he approaches her and asks if she'd like to join his team. The young woman is surprised to be addressed by the S-rank summoner and asks if he's really talking to her. He smiles and explains that he wants to compete in the rankings, but since no one wants to join him, he's inviting her. She finds it strange that a summoner is aiming for the top, but because he's handsome, she accepts the offer. A notification confirms their union, and they formally introduce themselves, sealing the new partnership. The guy says he'll take care of the monsters in the dungeon and that she just needs to stay safe. With hearts in her eyes, the bard is charmed by his concern and eagerly agrees. Now that they're a duo, they just need to find one more person to complete the group. Suddenly, a crowd stirs at the arrival of Goddess Qing, a very popular girl. She is Su Qing, an A-rank druid, and all the guys around are begging to join her. The MC recognizes her as the most beautiful girl in school, which surprises him a little. She also recognizes him as the worst student and wonders how he became a summoner. The druid stares at him, pondering whether to join such a weak class while he's left completely confused. With a confident smile, the girl points at the guy and orders him to let her join his party. The girl's fans are furious at the scene, and the MC points to himself in disbelief. She confirms it's him and approaches him very closely, leaving him speechless. The other guys cry with rage while the young man thinks none of this is his fault. The druid then turns to her fans and, with an annoyed look, tells them all to get lost because she already has a team. With the party formed, Lin Tanhao tells his new companions that it's time to enter the abyss. But before they enter, the MC stops her and asks why she wants to join their team. With a determined look, she reveals that she's aiming for the top of the rankings and needs 2 deadweights to carry. The guy and the bard are offended and wonder if the druid is calling them trash. Without giving them time to respond, she enters the portal and yells at them to hurry up. The young man sighs and comments that it looks like they've picked up a little princess for the group. The druid warns them to fall back if the situation gets dangerous, as there's no one else to join. Upon entering the dungeon, the trio is greeted by an intense cold and a snow-covered landscape. The guy complains that his cold resistance gear isn't working properly. The bard then remembers she can use a low-level cold resistance aura. With her harp, she begins to play a magical melody that envelops the group in a golden light. The druid comments with a smile that at least the bard isn't completely useless. With the protection of the aura, they begin to advance through the dungeon so as not to lose time. Suddenly, glowing red eyes appear in the darkness of the forest. Watching the group, the MC feels the presence of an approaching monster and prepares for combat. The creature reveals itself to be a corrupted stray wolf, a low-level monster with 211 attack power. The druid identifies it as a common monster from the Cold Valley Abyss. Excited for a chance to fight, she says the wolf arrived just in time for her to get some practice. Her arms transform into claws and a blue energy surrounds her as she prepares for battle. She transforms into a half-beast spirit cat form, and the guy is surprised by her ability. With her sharp claws, she lunges forward and attacks the wolf with impressive speed. The monster is hit by several blows, taking continuous damage from the druid's attacks. The bard is impressed by her strength, and the MC notices that the attacks cause bleeding. After defeating the wolf, the girl gives the dropped items to the bard as thanks for the aura. The girl feels awkward and says she doesn't need to be so polite, but accepts the items. With that, the druid orders them to keep moving, and the group resumes their journey. Soon after, they encounter 3 more corrupted wolves blocking their path. The druid advances alone to face the pack, determined to prove her worth. She fights bravely, but even with her strength, dealing with 3 enemies at once is a challenge. Seeing a scratch on her arm, the bard gets worried and asks if her companion is okay. The bard offers to help with a healing spell, but the druid refuses, telling her to save her mana. Instead, she takes a healing potion from her inventory to recover. The bard uses the potion on the druid, who heals instantly and returns to the battle. The MC watches the scene with a smile as the two begin to understand each other better. The trio continues their journey through the dungeon, growing closer with each challenge. Further ahead, the druid notices something strange on the ground and stops suddenly. A purple magic circle appears under her feet, and she realizes something is not right. The MC and the bard are also caught off guard by the magic trap. From the sky, a giant rock begins to fall at high speed towards the group. The massive rock collides with the ground, causing an explosion of snow and throwing the druid far away. From the crater emerges a corrupted stray zombie, an elite monster with 56 attack power. The druid is worried as an elite monster will be a big problem for the group. The MC explains that it's a hidden elite monster that probably appeared because of the wolves they killed. She charges forward to attack the zombie, but the creature is extremely agile and dodges the blow. The druid is surprised by the monster's speed, barely able to keep up with its movements. The zombie counterattacks with a powerful hammer blow that creates a shockwave on the ground. Hit squarely, the druid falls unconscious to the ground, severely injured and with her clothes torn. The bard panics and asks the MC for help as they need to save their friend. The monster approaches the fallen girl and raises its hammer to deliver the final blow. But before it can strike, the MC summons his demonic slime into the battle. With his faithful companion by his side, the guy prepares to face the elite monster. He orders the slime to use the demon dance ability, and the creature lunges to attack. The slime delivers a powerful blow that intercepts the zombie's hammer just in time. The zombie then redirects its attack towards the slime, delivering a devastating blow. The impact of the hammer creates a large crater in the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust. The monster is surprised to see that its attack caused no damage to the slime. It looks at the ground and realizes the blow only hit the rocks around the creature. The MC positions himself in front of his companions, ready to protect the group. He asks the bard to take the druid to a safe place and heal her while he takes care of the monster. The zombie becomes enraged and charges forward with its hammer, ready to crush the summoner and his slime. Without wasting a moment, the MC orders the slime to use the slime spit ability. The demonic creature obeys and fires several red goo projectiles towards the zombie. The elite monster is caught by surprise by the attack and fails to dodge in time. With a wicked smile, the slime continues to fire its corrosive goo at the enemy. The zombie is hit squarely by all the projectiles, feeling the corrosive effect on its body. The goo spikes pierce its skin, causing damage and melting part of its armor. The guy then orders the slime to use the demon dance to finish the attack. He realizes the zombie's defense is very high, and his attacks are only dealing half the damage. The elite monster begins to feel the effects of the corrosive attack, and part of its body melts. The MC is surprised to see that the slime's goo can melt the zombie's body. The furious monster charges forward to attack, but the slime is ready to intercept it. With a determined look, the young man comes up with a new strategy to defeat the enemy. He orders the slime to use demon dance and corrosive goo. Aiming for the zombie's ankle, the slime attacks the monster's leg with a precise blow, causing it to lose its balance. The concentrated attack on the leg melts the zombie's armor and flesh, weakening it. With a shout of relief, the guy sees that his strategy worked and the monster is vulnerable. The elite zombie finally falls to the ground, defeated by the slime's combination of attacks. Meanwhile, the bard uses her healing skills to treat the druid's injuries. Slowly, the druid begins to regain consciousness thanks to her companion's care. She opens her eyes and is impressed to see the MC and his slime victorious over the monster. The MC analyzes the monster and realizes that the defense of its lower body is weaker. With this, he orders the slime to attack the zombie's lower half to exploit this weakness. The slime obeys and launches a concentrated attack on the monster's lower body. The corrosive goo melts the zombie's armor and flesh, leaving it completely vulnerable. The elite monster can't withstand the attack, and its body begins to dissolve rapidly. After defeating the zombie, a notification informs the guy that he has gained 120 experience points and several items. The amount of experience is so large that he instantly levels up to level 2. The girls are shocked to see that he defeated an elite monster by himself, and with a single blow, the druid acknowledges that it's not the class that's strong, but Lin Tianhao himself. He approaches her and asks if she's okay, and the girl gets flustered by his closeness. The guy helps her up, and she says it was just a minor injury. The bard explains that her healing is very slow and they need to stop and rest for a bit, but the druid refuses to stop, saying they can't rest if they want to get first place. She gets up with difficulty and insists that she can still fight so they can keep moving. The young woman tries to walk, but her legs give out and she nearly falls into the snow again. The MC catches her and scolds her, saying she can't compete if she's not alive. She blushes and agrees to rest for a while, and he says there's a cave nearby on the map. The group finds the cave and decides to spend the night there to recover. The guy offers to keep watch while the girls rest by the fire. The bard, exhausted from using so much magic, quickly falls asleep in her sleeping bag. The MC watches the druid sleeping and comments that she fell asleep very quickly. He then tells the awake girl to get some rest too, as he's going to check outside. Before he leaves, she calls out to him and thanks him for saving her earlier in the battle. With a blushing face, she tries to hide her embarrassment and says she's not the type to forget a favor. The guy smiles and says he'll go to sleep and pretend he didn't hear anything, leaving her even more flustered. He thinks that despite her sharp tongue, the tsundere noble has an honest heart. Lying down, the druid watches the guy with a curious gaze and a slight blush on her face. Outside, the MC decides to check his stats since he leveled up to 3. A status screen shows his increased HP, MP, attack, and defense, along with a new ability. The new ability, fully armed, protects his summoned creatures and increases all their attributes. He also gained 400 HP and realizes he can use this to level up his slime. The guy then converts his 400 HP to strengthen his summon. With the sacrifice, the slime levels up to 7 and its overall stats improve significantly. In addition to the enhanced stats, the slime also learned a new ability called Split. The MC wonders what the difference is between the clone and the creature's original body. With an excited smile, he decides to test his companion's new ability. The slime hits the ground hard to begin the process of splitting its body. A tentacle extends from the main body and begins to mold into a new shape. The guy points forward and orders the slime to use the split ability. The slime's body contorts and divides, creating an identical clone of itself. With a focused look, the MC analyzes his slime's new ability. A status screen shows that the clone has half the HP but increased agility and reduced defense. He notices the trade-off in attributes but doesn't know how long the clone will last. A timer appears above the slime, showing that the ability has a duration of 3 minutes. The guy is frustrated by the limited time and wonders what he can do in just 3 minutes. Suddenly, he hears a scream coming from the cave and is startled by the unexpected noise. Worried about his companions, he tries to figure out what happened inside the cave. Realizing they are in danger, he runs back to the cave entrance. The MC rushes into the cave to see what's happening with the girls. Inside, he finds the two of them cornered by a dark and frightening creature. Without hesitation, the guy orders his slime to use slime spit to attack the monster. The demonic creature fires a red goo projectile towards the enemy. The attack hits the monster squarely, dealing only 25 points of damage. The MC is shocked to see how low the damage of his attack was. The monster reveals itself to be a giant snow rabbit, a level 8 creature with 800 HP. The girls panic when they realize the 6-level difference between them and the monster. With its glowing red eyes, the giant rabbit glares at the group with a menacing expression. The creature charges at high speed, ready to crush the MC and his slime. The druid desperately yells for the guy to watch out for the monster's imminent attack, but with a calm and confident look, he simply says, "It's just a rabbit." The slime fires several goo projectiles towards the approaching giant rabbit. The creature runs in a zigzag pattern, dodging all the attacks with impressive agility. It continues to advance, creating a small tornado of dust and snow with its speed. The goo projectiles only hit the cave floor, completely missing the target. The giant rabbit closes in on the slime, ready to deliver a powerful blow. The demonic creature tries to defend itself, but the rabbit is much stronger and faster. The slime is hit hard and thrown violently against the cave wall. The monster continues its assault, striking the slime repeatedly without giving it a chance to defend. The slime takes heavy damage from the giant rabbit's consecutive attacks and its HP drops. Seeing the situation, the MC orders the slime to retreat and use demon dance and corrosive goo. The slime tries to attack the rabbit, but the creature is too agile and manages to dodge. The guy is surprised to see that the rabbit managed to dodge such a fast attack. The druid explains that the giant snow rabbit is the toughest monster in the dungeon. She's confused because they didn't invade the monster's territory, so it shouldn't be attacking them. The bard gets worried and asks if they should help, as the rabbit has dodged all the attacks. The MC realizes that his slime's demon dance has gone on cooldown. With his main attack ability unavailable, the situation becomes even more dangerous. He yells for the slime to fall back and get closer to him to avoid more damage. The rabbit takes the opportunity and delivers a series of powerful blows to the slime. Seeing their companion in danger, the girls decide they need to help in the battle. The bard runs to distract the monster while the druid yells for her to wait. She throws a rock at the rabbit and taunts it to chase her instead of attacking the slime. The rock hits the monster's head, which stops its attack and looks at the girl angrily. With its red eyes glowing intensely, the giant rabbit glares at the bard with fury. The girl is terrified when she realizes her taunt worked and the monster is coming after her. She screams in fear as the giant rabbit approaches her with heavy steps. The bard then pulls a carrot out of her bag to try and calm the creature down. She throws the carrot to the monster, begging it not to come any closer. The giant rabbit catches the carrot and, with a sparkle in its eyes, begins to eat it greedily. The creature transforms into a cute little bunny and devours the carrot with satisfaction. The MC and the druid are shocked and ask why the bard is carrying carrots. The rabbit returns to its giant form and glares at the group with a menacing look. The bard panics and throws more carrots at the monster, which it devours quickly. The guy realizes the food is running out and they need to lure the rabbit into a trap. He then orders the bard to throw her bag of carrots to the druid. The bard obeys and throws the bag to her companion, who is surprised by the order. The druid manages to catch the bag in midair, a bit clumsily but without dropping it. The giant rabbit turns and runs towards her, now that the food is in her hands. The druid transforms into her spirit cat form and asks the MC if he has a plan. She lunges forward and attacks the giant rabbit with her sharp claws to create a distraction. The MC faces the monster and says confidently, "Of course I have a plan." With a determined smile, he declares that he's going to take down the giant rabbit one way or another. The monster roars and charges towards the druid with overwhelming fury. The girl dodges the attack with agility and manages to stay ahead of the monster. In a panic, she yells at the guy and asks what the next step of the plan is. He points to a dead end in the cave and orders her to lure the rabbit there. The druid understands the plan and with a confident smile prepares to execute her part. She runs at high speed towards the location indicated by the MC. The giant rabbit relentlessly pursues her, unaware that it's falling into a trap. The druid uses her agility to dodge the monster's attacks and guides it to the dead end. With a focused look, she continues to run, maintaining a safe distance from the rabbit. The monster hits the cave wall with a powerful punch, narrowly missing its target. The creature is stunned by the impact and for a moment is vulnerable to attacks. Seizing the opportunity, the MC yells for the demonic slime to spring into action. The demonic creature fires a goo projectile that hits the rabbit's back. The monster roars in pain and turns to attack the slime that hit it from behind. With a victorious smile, the guy says the rabbit has fallen into his trap. The slime's clone splits into several pieces and attacks the monster from all sides. The rabbit is confused by the multiple attacks and doesn't know which target to attack first. The original slime prepares to deliver the final blow while the monster is distracted. A notification informs him that he killed the giant rabbit and gained 200 experience. The MC reflects that it was tough fighting the monster with just his slime. He realizes that his slime's area of effect abilities are weak against a single strong enemy. The druid celebrates the victory and complains that the guy used her as bait in the battle. He apologizes and explains that she was the only one fast enough to dodge the rabbit. The druid then blames the bard for bringing carrots and luring the monster to them. The guy takes the basket of carrots and stops the druid from throwing them away. He explains that killing the rabbit gave a lot of experience and that they can level up faster. The condition to clear the dungeon is to defeat the level 10 boss, and they need to level up. The MC calculates that to reach level 4, they need to kill 5 more rabbits. The bard is scared as they barely manage to handle 1 rabbit, but the guy reassures her saying that this time, they will be the hunters. The druid agrees with the plan because she wants to climb the rankings without wasting time hunting monsters. They place a carrot as bait and wait for the giant snow rabbit to appear. The monster is lured by the carrot and approaches the trap without any suspicion. Hiding behind a rock, the trio celebrates the success of their plan. As soon as the rabbit gets close, they emerge from their hiding spot and surround it, ready to attack. 3 hours later, the group finally levels up, reaching levels 4 and 5. A timer shows they've been in the dungeon for 5 hours and have leveled up very quickly. The bard comments that the current record is 8 hours and they are on the right track. The excited bard asks if they'll be able to break the #1 record for the dungeon. The MC explains that the boss is a zombie leader who commands wolves, and the battle will be one of attrition. The bard gets worried because in their current state, the fight would take at least 2 hours. The druid tells them to rest and prepare, and the guy agrees to take a half-hour break. While resting, the MC uses his demonic sacrifice to further strengthen his slime. He notices that the HP gain from leveling up is decreasing, and he needs another way to increase it. The slime reaches level 9, and its stats improve slightly, but no new abilities are learned. The guy hopes the boss battle won't be as difficult as he imagines. Suddenly, a loud noise echoes through the cave, startling the resting group. The trio gets on high alert, not knowing what caused the noise, and prepares for the worst. They rush to the cave entrance to investigate the source of the mysterious sound. On top of a hill, they see a winged creature glowing brightly against the night sky. The MC is shocked by the unexpected appearance and wonders what that creature is. A status screen reveals it's the dungeon's hidden boss, a level 10 unicorn. The guy is in disbelief, seeing a real unicorn right in front of him. He feels lucky to have found the hidden boss, but realizes its stats are much higher. The unicorn emits a bright blue light that affects the MC's eyes. His eyes begin to spin in a hypnotic pattern, and he's paralyzed by the creature's beauty. The guy becomes completely hypnotized and starts walking towards the unicorn as if in a trance. He slowly walks towards the edge of a cliff, still under the effect of the unicorn's spell. Suddenly, the demonic slime bites the MC's leg hard to snap him out of his trance. Feeling the sharp pain, the guy wakes up confused and complains about his own companion's attack. His eyes widen in fear as he realizes he was about to fall off the cliff. The girls look at him, relieved to see he stopped right at the edge of the precipice. But now they are the ones mesmerized by the unicorn's eyes, repeating how beautiful it is. Under the spell's effect, the two of them slowly start walking towards certain doom. Realizing the danger, the guy yells for them to be careful and runs to grab them in time. The momentum of the action causes all 3 of them to slip and fall down the mountainside together. On the ground, the druid identifies the hidden boss, and the bard is confused, as she was expecting a zombie. The druid explains that the unicorn is a guardian that appeared because they killed too many rabbits. The bard then asks why nothing happened when they faced the wolves and zombies. The white-haired girl says they should have followed the guide to face the zombie boss. She worries because the hidden boss's stats are much higher and they might be defeated. With tears in her eyes, the bard says she doesn't want to meet her end and suggests they flee the battle. The guy explains that it's impossible to run because they're already marked from the rabbits they killed. The bard blames herself for bringing the carrots, saying that's why they encountered the hidden boss. At that moment, the MC grabs her by the hood to calm her down and stop her from despairing. He cheers her up, saying that thanks to her, they can break the record if they defeat the boss. But when thinking about the hidden boss, the guy feels a bit apprehensive about the difficulty of the fight. He then turns to the girls, and with a determined look, promises he won't let them get hurt. With a confident smile, the druid says it's just a unicorn and tells him not to get in her way. Seeing her companion's determination, the bard fills with courage and thanks them. Just then, the unicorn spots them and lets out a powerful roar, preparing to attack. The mythical creature finds them, and the group runs desperately to escape its charge. A notification informs them that the hidden boss is using the Charging Thorn ability. The boss attacks the mountain wall with its horn, causing a shower of debris. The impact of the blow opens a hole in the cave, revealing the starry sky outside. Seeing the destruction, the MC yells for his companions to spread out to avoid the danger. Immediately after, a large blast of blue energy hits the spot where they were standing. The group manages to split up just in time, narrowly avoiding the unicorn's devastating attack. From the middle of the smoke, the winged unicorn appears again, ready to continue the battle. The boss then uses its soul-purifying song ability, releasing a colorful energy. The MC feels a terrible headache from the attack and yells the bard's name. The bard then begins to play her harp, using various songs to purify, resist, and weaken. The bard's melody envelops the unicorn, trying to nullify the effects of its magical ability. The mythical creature roars in anger upon realizing its spells are being neutralized. The unicorn then uses Crushing Charge and advances directly towards Li Shui. The girl is paralyzed with fear, but a golden light appears right in front of her to protect her. It's the druid in her beast form, who intercepts the unicorn's attack, saving her friend. With her enhanced strength, she manages to hold back the powerful mythical creature's charge. With a powerful kick, the druid manages to deflect the unicorn's attack and get away. She then taunts the creature, calling it a pony and challenging it to a direct confrontation. The unicorn becomes furious with the taunt and lets out a neigh of rage at the girl. With that, the druid starts running through the snow to draw the boss's attention and lead it away. The monster attacks the ground with its horn, but the young woman is agile enough to dodge the blow. Lying on the ground, she realizes the true strength of the hidden boss and prepares for the worst. Seeing that she's in danger, the MC yells for Suchinger to watch out for the next attack. But the unicorn is too fast and manages to hit the druid squarely with its horn. With a look of shock and pain, the girl is pierced by the powerful creature's attack. The druid is thrown far away and the bard runs towards her, screaming desperately. She holds her injured friend and tries to wake her up while the unicorn watches from a distance. Seeing his companions in danger, the MC becomes enraged and calls his slime into battle. With a determined look, he declares that it's now their turn to fight the boss. The screen shows the demonic slime's stats, now at level 9 and much more powerful. The unicorn turns to the new enemy, and its eyes glow with a sinister red light. The demonic creature leaps towards the boss and attacks it with a direct blow to the head. With a furious expression, the slime prepares to use its most powerful abilities. It fires a jet of corrosive goo that hits the unicorn's body squarely. The girls are in disbelief to see that the slime is managing to suppress the hidden boss. The guy explains that unicorns are weak to dark attribute attacks, and his slime is its weakness. With a serious look, the MC orders his slime to keep attacking the boss without stopping. The demonic creature obeys and fires another corrosive goo projectile at high speed. The unicorn roars in pain as it's hit again by the slime's dark attack. Struck by several blows, the mythical creature falls to the ground, seemingly defeated. But suddenly, the winged boss takes flight and tries to flee the battle to save its life. With a confident smile, the guy says he won't let the monster escape. No way. He then orders the slime to use corrosive goo and demon dance at the same time. The demonic creature's body begins to transform, preparing for a combined attack. With an even more menacing form, the slime launches in pursuit of the fleeing boss. The attack hits the unicorn in mid-flight, causing it to lose altitude and balance. The demonic creature appears on the boss's back, catching it completely by surprise. With a devastating blow, the slime hits the unicorn squarely, causing a huge explosion. Seeing the attack's success, the MC praises his companion for the excellent work. A great wave of energy explodes on the scene, and everyone celebrates the apparent victory. But amidst the smoke, the unicorn gets up and prepares for a desperate counterattack. It releases a powerful sonic shockwave that spreads across the entire battlefield. The MC yells for everyone to cover their ears as the sound is unbearable. The unicorn then charges through its own shockwave, ready to attack the slime. Seeing the danger, the guy orders his companion to back away and use the split ability. At the last second, the slime splits in two and manages to dodge the boss's deadly attack. With the split ability, the unicorn's horn passes through the slime without causing any damage. The two clones of the demonic creature surround the boss, leaving it confused and unsure who to attack. A notification then informs that the unicorn is using the Stormy Charge ability. Seeing that his ability is running out, the guy orders the slime to use corrosive goo. With that, the two clones prepare to launch a powerful combined attack against the boss. The attack hits the unicorn from below, catching it by surprise and causing significant damage. The boss then turns to face the demonic creature that attacked it with a look of pure fury. Without giving it time to react, the demonic creature latches onto the unicorn's face and begins to corrode it. The mythical creature starts to lose its balance, and its hooves slip on the frozen ground. With a wicked smile, the slime continues to attack the boss without showing any mercy. The unicorn lets out a neigh of pain, feeling its body being slowly dissolved by the goo. A notification warns that due to the fatal injury, the unicorn has entered a berserker state. The MC realizes the danger and yells for his companion to get away from the boss immediately. With a severe and exposed wound, the unicorn becomes enraged and releases an immense aura of power. It shakes off the slime and charges uncontrollably towards the other members of the group. The MC and the mythical creature stare at each other for a moment, exchanging looks of pure determination. But suddenly, the unicorn stops its attack, and the guy wonders why it stopped fighting. He then looks down and notices something strange happening on the cave floor. The unicorn's blood spreads across the ground, and small green leaves begin to sprout from it. The injured druid yells at Lin Tianhao to stop hesitating and deliver the final blow to end the battle. The bard stands up and says she'll help in the battle, but the guy stops her, yelling for her to wait. Ignoring the warning, the injured druid charges forward and says to let her handle the boss herself. The MC is surprised and a little nervous about his companion's impulsive action. With her sharp claws, she delivers a powerful blow to the stationary unicorn. She finishes off the boss and with a victorious smile holds the creature's magic core in her hand. Lying in a pool of its own blood, the unicorn lets out one last weak neigh. The druid turns around, startled by the sound as she thought the battle was already over. With a shocked expression, she realizes the creature isn't angry but crying. Suddenly, a very strong pillar of green light shoots up into the sky from the unicorn's body. The guy yells for everyone to cover their ears as a powerful energy hits them. The energy wave is so strong that the entire mountain begins to shake and crumble. A giant black sphere of energy forms in the sky above them, threatening to crush everyone. Seeing the imminent danger, the MC orders his demonic slime to devour the sphere. The creature obeys its master and rushes towards the black energy sphere. With a cry of effort, the slime prepares to absorb the dark energy that is falling. Inside the slime's body, we see the unicorn's core being absorbed by the demonic creature. With a relieved smile, the guy declares that the threat has been contained and they are safe. But the joy is short-lived as he realizes the entire place is rapidly collapsing. The bard screams for the MC to run, as the place is dangerous and they need to get out. Just then, a huge rock falls right on top of the bard, who screams in terror with nowhere to run. At the last second, the druid dashes forward at high speed to save her companion from the huge rock. With a powerful blow, she hits the rock with her own body, shattering it into several pieces. The force of the impact is so great that the rock completely disintegrates in the air, saving the bard. The slime then envelops the group to protect them from the debris, and the bard asks why everything is collapsing. The MC explains that with the Guardian's demise, the magic that sustained the place is dissipating. But suddenly, he notices something strange happening and yells for everyone to wait a moment. From the sky, a new sphere of black energy begins to form and fall upon the unicorn's body. Desperate, the guy yells for his slime to use the split ability to protect the mythical creature. The demonic creature lets out a cry of effort and prepares to obey its master's order. It then leaps and positions itself in front of the unicorn to shield it from the falling dark energy. The slime takes the full impact of the black energy sphere, protecting the unicorn's body. With a wicked smile, the slime stands guard over the fallen creature's body in the pool of blood. It then lets out a terrifying shriek that echoes throughout the crumbling cave around them. The demonic creature begins to interact with the unicorn, which lets out a neigh of pain from the action. The unicorn seems to suffer from the slime's action as its blood continues to heal the ground. Suddenly, the bard notices that the mountain has stopped crumbling, and everything has become quiet again. With that, the MC suggests they get closer to see what happened to the unicorn. The druid, still recovering from her injury, asks what is happening there. Kneeling, the guy explains that the unicorn's blood has healing properties and has healed the ground. He stands beside the mythical creature, which now seems to be at peace and slowly recovering. The druid yells to finish the creature so they can leave the abyss, but the MC says they can't yet. She becomes furious with Lin Tianhao and asks why he's stopping her from finishing off the boss. The bard then agrees that something is wrong with the unicorn and asks the druid to calm down. The mythical creature seems to be trying to say something, and the MC wonders what the message could be. With a serious look, he continues to analyze the situation, trying to understand what's happening. Suddenly, the unicorn begins to writhe on the ground, letting out a neigh of pure agony. The creature's abrupt movement almost hits the girls, who back away, frightened by the scene. Impatient, the druid says there's no point in waiting and that they should finish the boss off quickly. But the guy stops her again, putting his hand in front of her and asking her to wait. She gets annoyed and warns him not to try to stop her again as she won't hesitate. The two stand over the fallen creature's body as the tension rises between them. Then, the MC notices something moving inside the unicorn's belly and is surprised. Looking closer, he sees that the creature's belly is swollen and moving strangely. The druid is completely shocked by what she's seeing and doesn't understand the situation. To everyone's surprise, a small unicorn emerges from within the other's body and stands up. The small foal stands on the grass, and the druid wonders if it's a new unicorn. She thinks the boss has been reincarnated and prepares to attack it before it recovers. Seeing her intention, the MC positions himself in front of the foal to protect it. With a swift movement, he grabs the druid's arm and stops her from launching her deadly attack. With a serious and determined look, he faces his companion, resolved to protect the small creature. With a determined look, he holds back the druid's attack, which clashes against his hand with sparks. The girl's blow is so strong that it ends up cutting the guy's hand that is holding her. Just then, the unicorn's horn breaks, and a drop of its blood falls onto the young man's wound. An intense light shines from the mythical creature's horn as the two bloods mix. The druid screams, asking what he's doing, and a notification confirms that the contract has been sealed. The two girls are completely shocked and confused about what just happened. With a serious look, the MC observes the scene, taking in the new situation. A green energy begins to flow from the ground directly to the feet of the standing guy. The energy rises through his entire body and concentrates on his forehead, enveloping him in a golden light. The light enters his mind, sealing the contract and making him the new master of the small unicorn. A status screen appears with the information of the juvenile unicorn, which is now his new summon. He looks at the small creature lying in a circle of light and realizes his guess was correct. The guy confirms that his intuition was right and that the creature has become his ally. He explains that the mother unicorn was trying to protect her foal and that they have formed a contract. Satisfied, the young man celebrates, as he now has two powerful summons by his side. His companions are still confused and ask what is happening with the unicorn. But suddenly, everything starts to shake again, and the bard asks why the ground is cracking. The girl points to the ground, which is splitting into large fissures, showing that the place is about to collapse. The druid yells at the MC to run, as the place is collapsing and they need to flee. But instead of running, he kneels and promises the foal that he will take good care of it from now on. Sitting on the ground, the guy looks at a blue screen that appeared with the dungeon rewards. The screen shows the items he won, like a unicorn horn, blood, and a treasure chest. The slime lets out a startled grunt as the MC is surprised by another notification. A message congratulates the group for breaking the dungeon record and announces that the ranking is being updated. With a worried look, the young man realizes that the situation isn't really over yet. His companions yell for Lin Tianha to hurry up as the ground is collapsing around them. Without hesitation, he starts running to escape the imminent collapse of the cave. As he runs with his slime, the ground opens up behind him, almost swallowing him into the abyss. The girls scream his name desperately, seeing that he might not be able to escape. The MC ends up falling into a dark abyss, surrounded by rocks collapsing on him. As he falls, a screen appears in front of him, asking if he wishes to leave the dungeon. Without a second thought, he presses the yes button to escape certain doom at the last second. A small blue light shines in the darkness as he is teleported out of the abyss. His two companions are also enveloped in a blue light and exit the dungeon safely. Outside, the two appear safe and sound but are still shaken by the experience. The bard sighs in relief and comments that for a moment she thought she was going to bite the dust in there. The MC appears sitting on the ground and the girls run towards him, worried. The druid grabs him by the shoulders and tells him to calm down, while the young man feels awkward. In the crowd, the other adventurers are shocked to see that the ranking has changed after so long. Everyone turns towards the portal, eager to see who the team is that broke the dungeon record. An adventurer approaches the group and asks if they are the team that broke the record. But one of his companions calls him an idiot and says they must have been kicked out of the dungeon. The druid gets furious at the comment and goes after them, but the bard tries to hold her back. The MC watches the portal from a distance, seeing other adventurers coming out of the dungeon. He recognizes the group that comes out and confirms they are the bullies from his school. With an arrogant smile, Wang Dong recognizes the MC and taunts him for his early exit. The big guy continues to mock him, saying he didn't expect to see him come out of the dungeon alive. The bully's companions surround the druid and ask why she's with a loser. With a look of contempt, the druid tells the bully to get out of her face and calls him trash. The big guy's sidekick gets angry at her attitude and accuses her of being shameless. The two glare at each other with hatred while Wang Dong watches the scene with a smirk. The big guy approaches the MC and asks if he sees the difference between them now. With a confident smile, the guy replies that the bully should open his eyes and see reality. He stares at the big guy with a smile and asks what difference he's talking about. Wang Dong becomes furious with the response and grabs the MC by the collar, ready to fight. Suddenly, a blue screen appears and a notification informs that the ranking has been updated. The announcement reveals that the first place now belongs to Lin Tianhao. To everyone's shock, the bully's companions panic and can't believe that the MC is at the top. With a victorious smile, the guy approaches the bully, who is paralyzed with shock. The news spreads and everyone is surprised to learn that a new god of war has appeared. The bully's group refuses to believe it and one of them yells that it's impossible because the MC is trash. He continues the accusation, saying that Lin Tianhao cheated on the school test and definitely tampered with the list. The other adventurers are doubtful, but one of them remembers that it's impossible to cheat the Black Abyss ranking. With a cold look, the MC glares at the accuser, who starts to sweat nervously from the situation. Suddenly, the guy gets startled and asks aloud who dares to interrupt their discussion. He is completely shocked and terrified to see who is approaching the group at that moment. An elite group arrives, led by siblings Merong Yu and Merong Shu, both with A-rank talent. The crowd recognizes them as the Merong siblings and is impressed by their imposing presence. The MC observes the new group and wonders who this Merong family could be. He notices that the two siblings have special titles and questions why they are there. The young man thinks that elite families like theirs usually use special teleportation portals, but he also knows that some noble families team up with commoners to enter the abyss. Seeing that they already have a team formed, the guy wonders what the elite group came there to do. Wang Dong then approaches Merong Shuja and introduces himself as a holy warrior to impress her. However, the girl completely ignores him and walks past him, leaving him embarrassed and humiliated in front of everyone. The bully's sidekick gets annoyed by her attitude and questions her for ignoring a holy warrior. With a look of contempt, she laments that someone like him has appeared among the holy warriors. Furious, the guy confronts her and asks what she meant by that offensive comment. Just then, Merong Yu intervenes and stops the guy with his hand, preventing him from getting closer to his sister. The lackey then tells the big guy not to worry and reminds him that the MC is a cheater and trash. Merong Yu warns the MC that he got lucky and next time he'll learn about real power. With a sigh of relief, the druid complains that the noisy dogs have finally left. The nobleman then turns to the MC and recognizes him as the guy who changed the abyss ranking. He introduces himself as Merong Yu and extends his hand. While the guy wonders what he wants, his sister gets annoyed and asks if the young man is a fool for not shaking her brother's hand. The nobleman scolds her with a smile, calling her Zhao Yue to get her to calm down a bit. Awkwardly, the MC greets the guy but hesitates a little before shaking his hand. Before he can do anything, the druid grabs his hand tightly, stopping him from moving. She confronts the nobleman and asks if he's blind for not seeing that the guy is already on her team. With a forced smile, Merong Yu asks the girl to step aside as he's talking to him. The druid accuses him of trying to steal the MC and calls her group to leave. But the nobleman's sister stands in front of them and says she doesn't want to waste time either and that they want him. The other adventurers are confused, wondering why the Merong family wants a summoner. With a determined look, the druid refuses to hand him over, otherwise her record will be lost. One of the elite team members insists that she move aside because they must take him. The onlookers comment that it's better to get resources than to fight the Merong family. The bard then nervously asks the MC if he wants to join them. With a confident look, the druid states that he wouldn't dare switch teams now. Merong Yu says she doesn't have the power to decide for him and that she should ask what he wants. With that, he invites the guy to join the Golden Divine Lion team and asks what he thinks. An invitation screen appears in front of the MC with the options to accept or decline the offer. The druid panics and tells him not to accept the proposal because he already has a team. But to everyone's surprise, the guy responds with a simple and direct, "Sure." His two companions are completely shocked by his decision and can't believe what they heard. With a confident smile, the MC confirms his answer, leaving his friends even more confused. The druid becomes furious and asks what he just said, not believing her companion's betrayal. The bard is also devastated by the news and asks why he accepted the offer. The nobleman smiles, satisfied, and praises the guy, saying he's a smart man for his choice. He then asks the MC to accept the invitation on the screen to make the union official. The young man approaches the invitation screen, ready to make his final decision on the matter. The druid screams desperately, pleading for him not to do it, while the others hold her back. The nobleman says they can break new records together and that it will be a win-win situation. But when everyone expected him to accept, the guy presses the decline button. Everyone present is completely shocked by the unexpected turn of events. The nobleman's sister is furious with the refusal and asks what the meaning of this is. The MC smiles and explains that they can ask him to join, but he has some conditions. The girl gets annoyed and reminds him that it's already a huge favor for them to invite him and that he shouldn't be ungrateful. The guy then turns his back and says that if they don't want to talk, that's fine. But the nobleman interrupts him and asks what his request would be to join their team. With a mysterious smile, he says they are just a few small and simple conditions. He imposes 3 conditions: everyone must obey his orders, he gets all the experience, and he keeps all the items. The nobleman's sister and her group are shocked and furious at the guy's absurd demands. The other adventurers comment that it's a brilliant trick, as the Merong family will be in his hands. With a confident smile, the MC asks what they think, and that if they agree, he'll join. The members of the elite team are furious and tell their captain not to agree to the conditions. The druid watches the scene with a victorious smile next to the MC, who is challenging the nobleman. She then taunts the nobleman, telling him to try to reach the top of the ranking on his own if he has the guts. The crowd comments that it takes a lot of courage to refuse the Merong family in public like that. One of the elite team members gets angry and prepares to teach the MC a lesson. But the nobleman stops him and reminds him of the real reason they came there. Merong Yu asks the guy why he's provoking them if he has no intention of joining. The young man explains that he can't stand seeing people use their power to steal from others. The nobleman is furious at the affront and approaches the MC with a menacing look. He warns him not to brag too much, as his joy could turn into tragedy. With that, the elite group turns and leaves, leaving the MC and his companions behind. The druid waves at them with a mocking smile as they walk away angrily. The nobleman's sister turns around with a look of hatred and promises that she will remember Lin Tian Hao. The guy stretches and says that if they enter the abyss 2 more times, they'll reach level 10. But suddenly, he feels a strange sensation and wonders where that feeling is coming from. The girls surround him with an aura of fury and accuse him of deceiving them all along. Terrified, the MC begs them to listen to his explanation before they do anything to him. After a long and painful discussion, the guy is left behind, all beaten up and humiliated. He cries on the ground as the girls walk away, telling him they'll meet later to restock. A screen shows the waiting time for the next dungeon entry, which is 1 hour and 23 minutes. Sitting on the ground, he complains about his companion's cruelty while looking at his status screen. He decides to find a place to rest since there's still over an hour until the next entry. The young man walks through a forest and reflects that the unicorn experience brought him to level 6. He opens his status screen to check the abilities of his new summon, the unicorn. He observes the small unicorn icon next to the demonic slime in his list of summons. Then the guy decides to summon his new creature to see what it's capable of in practice. He performs the hand seals, and a blue summoning circle appears on the forest floor. With a shout, he calls for the unicorn and orders his new summon to appear before him. An intense light shines from the summoning circle, forcing him to shield his eyes with his hand. But when the smoke clears, he's confused to see nothing but a bit of steam. Desperate, the young man looks for his summon and wonders where the creature could have gone. A notification appears, informing him that the summoning failed and he should check the creature's status. He's confused by the failure and tries to understand what went wrong with his new summon. A new screen asks if he wishes to proceed with the summon's hatching, and he accepts. He is shocked to see that the waiting time for the hatching is 3 whole days. With no other option, he decides he'll have to wait and resigns himself to the long wait ahead. He remembers he still hasn't checked the items he won, and a screen appears with the Abyss completion chest. With a determined look, he prepares to see what rewards he got for completing the dungeon. But instead of an item, he sees a male icon on the screen and wonders what it could be. Then he discovers it's the gift package for breaking the all-time record and earns the title, The Fastest Man. The guy is shocked by the title and wonders what the fastest man is supposed to mean. But he decides to forget about it for now, as checking the gift package is more important. The screen explains that the gift package contains high-level equipment, materials, and random potions. With a determined look and a bit of hope, he decides to open the package to see what's inside. 2 chests appear in front of him, and he decides to check the dungeon completion chest first. The chest gives him a guardian's armor, which increases his HP and defense, plus 2 experience potions. Satisfied with the first item, he then turns to the second chest to see what he'll get. The guy approaches the treasure chest with an expression of anticipation on his face. Upon opening the box, he is completely shocked by the quality of the item he got. He got a silver-grade ice necklace that increases his magic, spirit, and ice resistance. A screen explains that there are 9 rarity levels for equipment, and silver is already a very good tier. He holds the necklace with a satisfied smile and thinks that the heavens are really helping him out. Without wasting time, the MC decides to equip the new necklace, and a purple light begins to shine. An aura of power surrounds him, and he feels the difference that good equipment makes to his stats. With a confident smile, he feels much stronger and more prepared for the upcoming challenges. His status screen shows that his HP and MP have increased, and he now has the title The Fastest Man. He analyzes his stats and notices they've improved a lot, and he still has 2 skill points left. Without a second thought, he decides to put all his points into the ability called Fully Armed. A red aura surrounds him, and his ability levels up to 3, doubling the stats of his summons. Satisfied with the improvement, he believes this will help him save a lot of time in dungeons. With a wicked smile, he decides his next step is to strengthen his demonic slime even more. The creature status screen shows it's already at level 9 with 1600 HP and other abilities. He thinks about sacrificing 100 HP, but a screen asks for sacrificial blood and warns that there are 6 levels left for an advancement. The MC is surprised and wonders what this advancement is, as he didn't know the slime could evolve. The screen continues to display the message about the blood and the remaining levels for the new form. Curious, he wonders if the creature will gain new abilities with the advancement and decides to risk it. The young man is a bit frustrated to realize there's no description of what the advancement does. With a determined look, he decides to proceed anyway to find out what will happen. Without hesitation, the guy confirms his decision on the confirmation screen by pressing the yes button. His HP bar shows he has 1100 health points before starting the sacrifice. With that, his max HP drops drastically to 500, and a notification confirms the success of the action. He yells, "Here I come," as his slime is enveloped in a powerful red energy. The energy intensifies and begins to spin in a terrifying vortex around the demonic creature. The force of the transformation is so great that the MC starts to cough from the pressure of the energy. He watches intently as the red vortex continues to spin and transform his companion. Inside the energy, the slime's body begins to contort and change shape in a bizarre way. The transformation is so intense that it leaves the MC completely shocked by what he's seeing. Meanwhile, his companions are waiting for him, and the druid asks where Lin Tian has gone. The bard nervously suggests that she could check his location on the team panel. With that, the druid agrees and decides to open the panel to see where her companion is. She's confused to see that his location is in the middle of the forest and wonders what he's doing. The 2 girls girls then decide to go after him to see what the guy is up to on his own. They run through the forest while the bard yells for her friend to wait up. In the forest, a huge wave of red energy explodes, startling the approaching girls. Back with the MC, he is completely shocked and asks, "What is that thing?" From the smoke, a girl with red hair and a slime body appears, making a cute sound. The guy is completely shocked and flustered by his summon's new appearance. With his face all red, he wonders why the creature isn't wearing any clothes. The creature stares at him with an innocent smile and bright eyes, looking very happy to see him. She strikes a pose, and the young man yells, asking what she thinks she's doing in this situation. The slime girl then leaps towards her master, catching him completely by surprise. With the force of the jump, she knocks him to the ground and lands right on top of him in a very intimate way. The creature continues to have a cheerful smile on her face, unaware of her master's embarrassment. The guy turns completely red and starts sweating nervously from the slime girl's proximity. She looks at him with a curious expression, wondering why her master is so agitated. Just then, he realizes his hand has landed in a very inappropriate place and gets even more nervous. With a red face, he pulls away and tries to convince himself that he wouldn't have any reaction to a summoned creature. To resolve the situation, he takes some clothes from his inventory to give to her. With a nervous look, he throws the clothes in her direction, telling her to take them. The creature holds the clothes with a confused expression, not understanding what's happening. Just then, her body begins to absorb the clothes in a very strange and bizarre way. With that, the outfit fuses into her body, and she now appears to be wearing a cute shirt. The guy is embarrassed by the scene and says the clothes were for her to actually wear. He then asks the creature to raise her arms so he can dress her properly. While dressing her, the young man wonders if this means he accidentally became a father. But to his surprise, a notification appears, showing that the creature's defense has slightly increased. He then realizes that summoned creatures can wear equipment if they have a humanoid form. With that, he decides to check the new stats of his advanced slime to see the changes. The screen shows she has leveled up to 15, and her overall stats have improved greatly. He notices she has gained 2 new abilities, one area of effect and one single target. The guy concludes that Acid Rain must be an improved version of the previous ability. With a determined look, he thinks that both abilities seem very strong and that he needs to test them. Meanwhile, the 2 girls are looking for him, and the druid wonders what he's doing so deep in the forest. On the map, she sees that the dot representing the MC is moving even further into the woods. With that, she tells her companion to hurry up because he's just ahead of them. Hiding behind a tree, the druid finally finds him and whispers, "Found him." But to her surprise, she sees the MC in a very suspicious embrace with the slime girl. Just then, the bard finally arrives, complaining that she's exhausted from chasing her friend. She then sees the scene and is completely shocked, her face turning red with embarrassment. Without a second thought, the druid comes out of her hiding spot and yells, "What are you doing?" The guy and the creature turn around, surprised, and he asks why the 2 of them are there in the forest. With a furious look, the druid asks if they are interrupting his good deeds. The MC is in a complete panic and starts sweating, not knowing how to explain the situation. The druid's shout calling him a pervert echoes through the forest, followed by the guy's cry of pain. Sitting on the ground and crying, he complains that it's her fault for not letting him explain. He continues to shout, asking if they even gave him a chance to speak before hitting him. After calming down a bit, he asks again why they are there, and a portal opens. The druid explains that their meeting time is over and they couldn't enter the abyss without him. The guy then realizes he was resting and didn't notice the time pass because the timer had run out. A confirmation screen appears in front of them, asking if they wish to enter the Cold Valley Abyss. With that, the druid says that since everyone is there, they should go straight to the dungeon. The trio then enters the portal, and a bright blue light envelops them as they are teleported. But upon arriving, they find several already defeated monsters covered in a purple liquid. They then see the Morong family's group, and one of the adventurers says she didn't find what she was looking for. The nobleman observes his sword, which is also dirty with the same purple substance as the monsters. With an irritated and determined look, he concludes that someone got there before them and took what they wanted. He's furious and can't believe that someone got there before him and took what he so desperately wanted. One of his companions approaches and asks the boss what they should do now. Another group member suggests they offer a high price to buy the item from whoever took it. Just then, the other companion hits him and calls him stupid for suggesting something so reckless. An adventurer with a book approaches and asks if the item could have been taken by another guild, but the blonde adventurer gets annoyed and tells everyone to shut up immediately. She calls them idiots and explains that the item must have been taken by a team of guildless players. The girl continues, saying that no other guild had the fragments to know that the unicorn had awakened, unless a team already inside the abyss found and defeated the boss by chance. The nobleman agrees and says that the abyss is showing signs of instability and the beast awakened early. With a frustrated look, he wonders who could have defeated the hidden boss of the dungeon. The adventurer suggests they take out all the teams that left the abyss and get the item back. She remembers the MC and says they should pay special attention to that arrogant punk. But the nobleman stops her and says the Golden Lion Guild doesn't take out innocents like that. He continues and explains that anyone capable of defeating a hidden boss cannot be weak. With that, he starts to suspect that maybe it was that record-breaking summoner. But he decides that's enough for now and that they will report to headquarters to decide decide what to do. The nobleman then orders everyone to follow him and that they will return to the guild immediately. A pillar of blue light begins to form on the ground as the group prepares to teleport. With a burst of energy, the Murong family's group is teleported out of the dungeon. After they leave, the place becomes silent again, covered in snow and blue remnants. Back with the MC, he complains that the place is still freezing and rubs his hands together to warm up. The druid says they need to move quickly this time, and the trio begins to advance through the dungeon. The guy sighs and complains about the girl's attitude, calling her a little princess once again. With the protection of the bard's aura, the group walks through the dark forest of the dungeon. They arrive at the spot where the first corrupted wolf appears, and the druid prepares for the fight. She transforms into her spirit cat form and tells the monster to feel a lady's claws. But to everyone's surprise, 5 corrupted wolves appear instead of just 1. The bard panics and screams in despair at the unexpected number of monsters. The MC is also shocked and wonders why the number of monsters has quintupled. But the druid is unfazed and says it doesn't matter if there are 5 because she'll defeat them with a single blow. With a worried expression and sweating a little, she yells her companion's name to get ready. The bard replies that she's ready to help and concentrates to use her support skills. With her harp, she plays a magical melody that envelops the wolves in a green weakening aura. The druid praises the bard's perfect timing and prepares to attack the weakened monsters. With a powerful blow, she hits all the wolves at once, dealing massive damage to each one. With a confident and victorious smile, she says it was very easy to defeat all of them. The MC watches the scene and is impressed by her damage, which reaches almost 400. With a serious look, he analyzes his companion's strength and seems to be planning something. The druid turns to the remaining monsters and says it doesn't matter how many there are, as she will defeat them one by one. Looking at the defeated wolves, the guy wonders why there are more monsters and if it's a coincidence. The druid calls him and tells him to hurry up and catch up so they can keep moving. But with a serious look, the young man says that once they reach the next spawn point, the truth will be clear. As they walk, he observes the cloudy sky and the desolate landscape of the dungeon. He feels that something is wrong and that the dungeon seems different from the last time they were there. But the druid ignores him and tells the bard to keep up the buffs because she's going to clear the place alone. The MC then yells at her to calm down and wait because he needs to check something. Suddenly, a strong tremor shakes the ground and the bard screams in fright, not understanding what's happening. The druid tries to calm her friend as the ground continues to shake with more intensity. The ground splits open and a huge monster emerges from the snow, catching the trio completely by surprise. The giant creature emerges from the snow and glares at them with its bright purple eyes. The guy realizes that the monsters were hidden under the snow and that it's a hunting formation. Seeing the scene, he understands that the dungeon's difficulty has increased and that there are now many more monsters. The bard panics and asks what they should do as they are surrounded by many enemies. The MC notices that the monsters' attacks are not random and wonders if they have developed intelligence. The monsters then attack with their sharp claws, creating an ice shockwave. The girls are hit squarely by the attack and scream in pain as they are thrown far away. The MC calmly observes the scene, and a red aura begins to emanate from his body. With a serious and determined look, he prepares to finally enter the battle. From the smoke, a giant and imposing monster emerges and faces the MC, ready for the fight. The wolves charge at high speed, and the girls scream that they're done for and there's no escape. Desperate, they hug each other and brace for the worst as the monsters close in. One of the wolves opens its giant mouth, ready to devour the MC with its sharp fangs. But with a confident smile, the guy shows no fear and prepares for battle. He then raises his hand and uses his summoning spell to call his creature into the fight. With a powerful shout, he summons his demonic slime to face the horde of monsters. Meanwhile, outside the dungeon, the portal begins to glow strangely and become unstable. The adventurers are startled by the portal's reaction and wonder what's happening. One of them yells that the ground is shaking, and everyone panics at the unexpected situation. The tremor intensifies, and the adventurer starts sweating with fear, not understanding the cause of the shaking. One of the adventurers points to the entrance and yells that there's a strange movement in the portal. Suddenly, several bodies begin to emerge from the portal as if being expelled from the dungeon. The adventurers are shocked by the scene, and one of them even vomits from nerves. A guard approaches and asks what's happening and why the portal is like that. An adventurer lying on the ground and bleeding says the abyss is erupting and it's the end. The guard is shocked by the news and tries to help the injured adventurer on the ground, but the more experienced guard stops him and asks what an abyss eruption means. A notification screen appears, informing that fallen professionals will be transported to the Hall of the Fallen. One of the guards is shocked to see that all the adventurers who came out of the portal are lifeless. The portal continues to glow with a sinister purple light, showing that the situation is far from over. The scene outside remains chaotic, with more skeletons being expelled from the dungeon portal. People in the square panic and try to protect themselves from the rain of skeletons falling from the sky. One of the men looks at a screen and is shocked to discover that the abyss's difficulty has changed. The screen confirms that the difficulty has been set to Nightmare, and he orders them to notify the mayor. With a desperate look, the guard yells into the radio to report the eruption of the Black Abyss. Back in the dungeon, the MC is surrounded by wolves, and a red aura envelops him. With a determined look, he raises his hand and summons his demonic slime into battle. One of the wolves charges to attack him with its sharp fangs, ready to devour him at once. But suddenly, a red light appears and interrupts the monster's attack at the last second. Two giant monsters emerge and stand in front of the MC to protect him from the horde. They strike the ground with a powerful punch, creating a shockwave that hits all the wolves. The damage screen shows that one of the giants took only 120 damage from the attack. With the impact, all the wolves are instantly defeated, taking massive damage. The slime girl then leaps into the air and lands gracefully on top of the two giant monsters. With a confident smile, the MC turns around with his summon, hugging him from behind. The girls are completely shocked by his strength and call him incredible and powerful. He then turns to his companions and tells them to fall back for now and stay safe. They agree and run to a safe place, saying they'll leave everything to him and cheering him on. Hiding, the two wonder if he can handle the monsters alone, as they seem stronger. The MC and his creature then face the remaining monsters, ready for the next battle. With a challenging smile, he taunts the monsters, "Come on, I'm gonna rough you up." The giant monsters roar in anger and charge to attack the MC and his summons. The wolves also howl and run at high speed to join the attack against the group. The giant monsters advance, and one of them tries to punch the MC with its enormous fist. The slime girl then moves forward and attacks the wolf with her tentacles to protect her master. With a serious look, he orders the creature to hold off the monsters while he comes up with a strategy. The creature obeys and launches one of its tentacles towards a wolf to intercept it. The monster stares at the tentacle with its bright red eyes, preparing for the impact. Hiding, the girls panic as they see their captain being attacked from both sides. They realize that the Wolf King and the normal wolves are on different levels and that he's in danger. With a focused and determined look, the MC prepares for the intense battle ahead. He then yells for his creature to defend itself as the monsters are approaching too quickly. The slime girl transforms into a giant goo and envelops the wolves to trap them in her body. The monsters scream in pain as they are enveloped by the demonic creature's corrosive goo. The girls scream in despair at the scene, thinking the creature has been defeated by the monsters. But to their surprise, the damage screen shows that the wolves are taking continuous critical damage. The bard excitedly points and says they're losing HP and that the slime's goo is corrosive. One of the wolves roars in pain and anger, feeling its body being slowly dissolved by the goo. But with its immense strength, the monster manages to break free from the goo and prepares to counterattack. With a confident smile, the guy says that now the battle is getting really interesting. The bard panics and says the defensive line is breaking, and the druid tells her to keep healing her. The demonic creature tries to hold back the monsters, but they are too strong and manage to push forward. With a powerful blow, the giant monster hits the creature and breaks through the defense. The bard yells for her friend to be careful as the monsters are advancing towards them. The wolves charge and bite the demonic creature, dealing considerable damage with their fangs. The MC realizes the monsters are coordinating their attacks and that they truly have intelligence. The two giant monsters attack the demonic creature at the same time with their improvised weapons. The bard yells for them to watch out for the combined attack of the two giant monsters. The druid tries to go help, but the bard holds her back and asks what she's doing and if she's gone crazy. The bard worries and asks what they'll do about the MC, who is in danger. With a concerned look, the druid says she'll think of something to help him in the battle. But with few options, she turns and prepares to use a special item from her inventory. She takes out a vitality potion and wonders if she really has no choice but to use it. The screen explains that the potion temporarily boosts physical stats but causes double the damage afterward. Regardless of the consequences, the druid drinks the potion in one go to strengthen herself. But before she can do anything, the MC tells his creature to stop and attack now. The slime girl then splits into several pieces and attacks the monsters from all sides. The monsters are caught by surprise by the attack, and one of them is thrown far away by the impact. The girls are shocked and ask if the zombie was really thrown by the creature's attack. With the force of the blow, the monster dissolves into a pink smoke and disappears completely. The demonic creature continues to attack the monster with its tentacles, completely enveloping it. With a furious look, the MC prepares to use one of his new abilities. He raises his hand and concentrates to activate his creature's special power. With a powerful shout, he uses the Demon's Embrace ability to finish off the monster. The damage screen shows the wolf took 211 damage, and the creature took 453. The wolf roars in pain, feeling its body being slowly dissolved by the creature's ability. A notification confirms that the zombie wolf king has been defeated and that he has gained experience. The girls celebrate the victory and the bard jumps for joy at her captain's success. The remaining wolf trembles in fear upon seeing its leader defeated with bare hands by the MC. Scared, the giant monster approaches the fallen wolf and lets out a sorrowful growl. It then picks up an improvised weapon from the ground, preparing to avenge its companion. With a powerful punch, it shatters the weapon on the ground to show its fury and determination. The giant monsters grab their weapons and prepare for a combined attack against the MC. One of the monsters hugs the other from behind, and a purple aura begins to envelop them. They then use a fusion ability called Rotten Hammer Storm and combine up. The fused monster's feet begin to spin at high speed, preparing for the attack. It transforms into a purple tornado and charges towards the MC with incredible speed. The guy is shocked by the scene and wonders if that is a zombie tornado. He realizes it's a fusion ability and wonders how low-level monsters can use it. The druid is worried because with the fusion, the monster's defense and attack have greatly increased. The druid yells for the MC to watch out for the tornado rapidly approaching him. The purple tornado advances and prepares to hit the MC with devastating devastating force. The demonic creature hugs him from behind to try and protect him from the impact of the imminent attack. The tornado hits the demonic creature squarely, which tries to shield its master with its body. The MC screams his creature's name as he feels the force of the tornado's impact. The demonic creature is hit hard by the tornado, taking massive damage from the attack. The creature's body stretches to try and absorb as much damage as possible and protect its master. The damage screen shows the creature took 121 damage from the tornado's attack. The guy despairs and says that if they get hit one more time, it's game over for them. The bard panics and asks her friend what they should do in this situation. With a determined look, the druid says she hasn't given the MC permission to fall yet. Without hesitation, she drinks another potion to further boost her powers and help in the battle. A fiery aura surrounds her, and she begins to transform into a new beastly form. With a dark face and a glowing red eye, she prepares to unleash her full power. The bard is shocked and whispers her friend's name, not believing the transformation she's seeing. With a potion, she manages to access her bear spirit form, a very powerful transformation. With a powerful leap, she charges towards the tornado to intercept the attack and save her friend. She hits the tornado with a powerful blow, creating a huge explosion of energy at the site. The bard is shocked to see that her friend has transformed into a giant bear to fight. With the force of the attack, the bard faints from shock and exhaustion in the middle of the battle. With a dull thud, the druid in her giant bear form lands in front of her fallen friend. She didn't expect the elixir to help her reach her white bear form so quickly. The tornado continues to pull the MC and his creature into the center of the purple vortex. With a determined look, she decides she needs to help him before it's too late. With a bright blue aura, she prepares to use the full power of her white bear form. She lets out a powerful roar and charges towards the tornado to try and stop it with her strength. The MC is shocked to see another monster and wonders where it came from. The demonic creature hugs him tightly to protect him while her master orders her to fall back. The tornado continues to spin with immense force and the MC can't break free. Trapped in the vortex, a dark hooded figure appears and glares at him with its glowing eyes. He's thrown into the air by the tornado and thinks today is the day he's going to meet his end. He closes his eyes and braces for the worst, but suddenly, the tornado stops spinning. He opens his eyes, confused, and realizes he's fine and that his creature is holding him. The druid yells his name and snaps him out of his trance, so he can get back to the battle. She scolds him, asking why he's just standing there, and tells him to attack the monsters. With a furious look, the MC uses his ability, and several red tentacles emerge. The tentacles spread across the battlefield and prepare to attack the monsters. The druid watches the scene, shocked, and wonders if that is Lin Tianhao's true power. The tentacles advance and hit the fused monster, catching it completely by surprise. The monster then begins to spin again, accelerating its speed for a new attack. The druid yells for the MC to be careful because the monsters are going to attack again, but with a confident smile, he says he won't let them use the same trick twice. With that, the demonic creature's tentacles advance and prepare to attack the fused monster. The tentacles completely envelop the monster, trapping it and preventing it from moving. With a powerful punch, the MC concentrates his energy and prepares for the final blow. He launches a powerful attack that hits the monster squarely, causing a huge explosion. With a celebratory roar, the druid celebrates the victory and says they've finally been defeated. But suddenly, she starts to sweat and feel the side effects of the potion she took. The MC turns and thanks the druid, saying that without her, he would have been lost. With a smile and a bit awkwardly, he says he didn't know she could turn into a bear. He yells her name when he realizes she's feeling the side effects of the potion. The screen shows that the potion caused massive damage to her and that her health is almost gone. She begins to tremble and feel intense pain throughout her body due to the potion's effect. The guy shouts and wonders what's happening to her as she seems to be in great pain. He runs towards her to try and help as she has collapsed on the ground from pain and weakness. He holds her in his arms and realizes she has returned to her human form and is badly injured. He notices her health is only at 10 and that one more hit would be the end for her. Without wasting time, he takes a potion from his inventory to try and heal her before it's too late. He gives her the potion and a red aura surrounds her as her wounds begin to heal. Slowly, she begins to recover and return to normal, thanks to the potion he gave her. With a sigh of relief, he realizes she's okay and that the potion worked as it should, but suddenly he feels something soft in his hand and wonders what it could be. He turns completely red and awkward when he realizes where his hand accidentally landed. The druid wakes up confused and asks what's happening and what he's doing. The guy gets so nervous that he gets a nosebleed from the embarrassing situation. She realizes what happened and yells, calling him a pervert for taking advantage of the situation. He tries to explain and says it was an accident, but she hits him with a hard slap across the face. With the force of the blow, he is thrown far away and falls to the ground in intense pain. She transforms back into her spirit cat form and glares at him with a furious look. He tries to defend himself and says she's the one who did it, but she threatens him to stay quiet. The guy realizes she's embarrassed and wonders if she's really that ashamed. She grabs him by the collar and yells, asking if he heard her, but he agrees to have seen nothing. With a serious look, she lets him go and warns him to be careful what he says, or he'll be in trouble. With a menacing aura, she turns and warns him to watch his mouth next time. The guy gets scared and realizes she's serious and that it's better not to provoke her. He gets up and promises he'll take the secret to his grave and won't tell anyone. The two then run to find their friend who is still lying on the dungeon floor. They find her fast asleep and snoring as if nothing had happened around her. The guy is impressed by her calmness and says she has a very strong heart. He then wakes her up and tells her to get up because they need to keep moving forward in the dungeon. Upon waking up, the bard is confused and doesn't understand what happened while she was sleeping. She gets up, startled, and yells for the monsters not to eat her, not realizing they're already gone. The druid explains that all the monsters have been defeated and that they are now safe. With a relieved look, the bard asks if it's true and if all the monsters are really gone. The MC nods and says yes, they can rest easy now. The bard then runs and hugs her friends, crying with relief that everyone is alive. The MC then says they need to quickly discuss what to do next. He continues and says they must have noticed that the black abyss has gotten harder. The druid agrees and says that the number and strength of the monsters have increased significantly since last time. The bard panics and asks what they should do now with the new difficulty. The guy suggests they leave the abyss for now, as the situation is not in their favor. The two girls agree with the idea, as they can't risk their lives recklessly. With the decision made, he opens the menu screen to begin the process of leaving the dungeon. A warning screen informs them that leaving the instance early will result in a level penalty. Even with the penalty, he presses the confirm button to exit the dungeon safely. But to everyone's surprise, an exit failure message appears on the menu screen. The girls are shocked and wonder how this is possible, as they've never seen it before. A new screen appears and informs them that the dungeon's difficulty has been changed to Nightmare. The guy is shocked and wonders if the difficulty of the Black Abyss has really changed. The bard panics and asks what they'll do now, and if they're trapped inside. The druid then says not to be afraid because even though it's harder, the beginner's abyss is still not unbeatable. The MC agrees and says that the maximum level hasn't changed, only the difficulty has increased for them. But the bard panics because if the normal monsters were already tough, the boss will be a nightmare. With that, the guy suggests they reach level 10 as quickly as possible, but the bard has a bad feeling. The druid in her beast form calls the bard to go with her, and the girl asks if they aren't sticking together. The MC explains that by splitting up, the experience won't be shared, and thus they'll level up faster. The bard understands the plan and says goodbye, saying they'll meet there when everyone reaches level 10. And so the young man sets off alone through the frozen forest, determined to get stronger for the battle. An hour passes, and we see the MC and his demonic creature fighting several wolves in the snow. Exhausted, he finally reaches level 10 and celebrates the achievement alongside his faithful battle companion. He explains that unlike them, his summons have no level cap and can get stronger with sacrifices. The status screen shows that his creature is already at level 15 with much higher attributes than his. The guy then analyzes his own stats and wonders why they are increasing so slowly. The screen shows he is a level 10 summoner and that his unicorn will still take 69 hours to hatch. He thinks it would be nice if the creature hatched soon, as one more summon would reduce the pressure on him. With that, he picks up a golden book and wonders if he can find a solution to his problem inside. To his surprise, he finds exactly what he was looking for and is shocked by his discovery. Outside, the MC and his creature are surrounded by a pack of wolves, ready to attack. The young man realizes the situation is more serious than he thought and yells that they are facing a boss. Suddenly, a powerful ice attack is launched in their direction with devastating speed. With a frightened look, the MC realizes that the commander of the stray bodies has awakened. Suddenly, the bard screams for help as she's caught in an explosion of snow and ice. A giant spiked hammer descends from the sky, and the girls panic at the attack. The druid screams her friend's name as she sees her thrown far away by the force of the impact. Without hesitation, the white-haired girl dashes forward at high speed to try and save her companion. She then uses her spirit cat ability to move faster and grab the bard in time. With an agile move, the druid manages to dodge a giant spike that emerges from the ground. Lying in the snow, the druid realizes she used all her mana to save her friend from the attack. With that, a giant shadow looms over the two of them, who are helpless and unable to move. The druid crosses her arms and positions herself in front of the bard to protect her from the impending blow. With a determined look, she braces herself to take the full impact of the boss's attack. The blow hits her squarely, dealing a massive 2,230 points of damage. Seeing the scene, the MC screams in desperation and orders his slime to spring into action to save them. The demonic creature charges at high speed and stretches out to cushion the girl's fall. With its goo body, the creature manages to catch both of them in mid-air, saving them from a worse injury. The guy runs towards them and worriedly asks if they're okay after that attack. Lying in the snow, the bard is unconscious, and the druid seems to be in great pain. With her arm all mangled, she says she can't feel it, and the MC holds her. But suddenly, a purple tornado begins to form near them, indicating a new attack from the boss. With a worried look, the MC faces the new threat, preparing for what's to come. From the tornado, a giant purple foot emerges and stomps on the ground with devastating force. Then, from the smoke, several bright red eyes appear, glaring at the group with malice. The boss reveals itself, and the MC warns that the stray commander is much stronger than before. The monster's appearance is completely different, with a more human and intelligent face. With that, the guy realizes in shock that the boss now looks like a real person. The status screen shows it has 30,000 HP and can summon reinforcements and use an ice armor. Just then, the injured druid tells Lin Tihao to run, as he won't be able to defeat that monster. But the boss gives no time and charges forward with a powerful leap towards the group to crush them. them. The MC says he can't run anymore as a notification informs them that everyone has entered the battle. With a determined look, he braces himself and says that even on Nightmare, it's still a beginner's boss. He then notices a red crystal on the monster's chest and understands that it's its weak spot. The giant boss stands still with its army of wolves and zombies, waiting for the moment to attack. With a serious look, the guy orders his creature to use Demon Dance, and she responds excitedly. The creature's body then dissolves into several red goo projectiles that charge forward. But the boss is too fast and with its weapon easily dodges all the projectiles. Seeing that the attack failed, the MC activates his fully armed ability and his eyes glow. The creature's stats double, and he orders it to use Split, Demon Dance, and Corrosive Goo. At her master's command, the demonic creature splits into two identical clones for the attack. The two clones then attack the giant boss from different sides, catching it by surprise. One of the clones manages to latch onto the boss's arm and begins to corrode its skin with acidic goo. With that, the corrosive goo deals a massive 2,700 damage to the giant boss's arm. The MC is shocked because even with the damage, the monster seems to have felt nothing. With a sudden movement, the giant boss shakes off the demonic creature and throws it far away. The creature is thrown with force and crashes into the frozen ground of the dungeon. Lying in the snow, the creature seems to be badly injured, and the guy yells for it to come back to him. The demonic creature then obeys and returns to its master's side for protection. He realizes that his summon is no match for the boss and that they are in a very bad situation. With its club raised, the giant boss lets out a roar and summons more monsters into the battle. With that, he decides to use the accelerated summoning spell he saw in the book to try a new strategy. He then begins to recite the magic words, and a blue summoning circle forms around him. But the monsters summoned by the boss charge and attack him while he tries to complete the spell. Surrounded by wolves, the MC shouts in frustration as he can't concentrate on the spell. The wolves attack each other in a frenzied rage, ignoring him for a brief moment in the battle. Just then, the druid charges forward to protect him and ends up being hit by one of the monsters in his place. With the impact, she suffers a serious injury, and the guy screams her name in desperation at the scene. The boss then prepares for a final attack while the young man continues to recite the spell. With a furious look, the boss charges and the guy thinks it's too late and the spell will fail. But a golden light explodes from the ground and a giant shadow emerges to intercept the boss's attack. The force of the impact is so great that the entire ground cracks, creating a large fissure in the snow. Bathed in the golden light, the MC looks up, shocked, and wonders, what is that thing? He then realizes that the bard has created a golden defense aura to protect the entire group. The guy is shocked by the scene while the giant boss roars in fury at the interruption. The bard then yells for the captain to hurry up as her aura is weak and won't last long. The MC hurries and continues to recite the summoning spell as fast as he can. With a powerful blow, the giant boss strikes the golden aura, shattering it into pieces. The force of the impact is so great that the shield shatters and the boss charges forward to attack. The bard is thrown far away by the force of the explosion, and her harp flies from her hands. The MC continues to recite the spell, while the demonic creature protects him from the monsters. With its tentacles, the creature holds the giant boss's hand, trying to stop its attack. Then the guy finally finishes the spell and declares with a shout that he's ready. The demonic creature dissipates, unable to withstand the force of the boss who charges relentlessly. But suddenly, a beam of blue light hits the boss, catching it completely by surprise. The beam of light pushes the boss's club back, preventing it from completing its deadly attack. With a large explosion of blue light, the boss is hit squarely by the power of the new summon. The MC is surprised and celebrates with relief upon seeing that his spell actually worked. From the light, a small, bright white creature appears, revealing itself to be a majestic unicorn. The small unicorn faces the giant boss, which is surrounded by lightning and recovering from the blow. The monster is then completely frozen by ice crystals that appear out of nowhere around it. Lying on the ground, the druid warns that the boss has entered its second phase and yells for the guy to run, but he ignores her and with a determined look, orders his new unicorn to hurry up and attack. The guy wonders what that is as he sees a blue light emanating from the unicorn's hooves. With its horn glowing, the creature charges at high speed towards the giant boss. It hits the monster with a powerful blow, shattering the ice crystals that held it. With the force of the impact, the unicorn's horn pierces the red crystal on the boss's chest. The giant boss lets out a roar of pain as it's hit in its weak spot by the mythical creature. The unicorn then spins in the air and delivers one last devastating blow to the already injured boss. Shocked, the druid can't believe that the 30,000 HP boss was defeated in a single hit. The MC yells the unicorn's name, surprised by the power of his new summon. He approaches the creature and asks if it's okay, and the creature seems to respond happily. The unicorn rubs its head against its master's hand like a foal asking for affection. The status screen shows it's a level 1 ice unicorn with charm and piercing abilities. Happy, the guy praises the unicorn, saying it was amazing for defeating the boss on its own. The demonic creature then hugs him from behind, looking a bit jealous of the new creature. He praises her too and says that without her they would have been defeated, and that she also worked hard. With that, he runs towards his companions to see if they're okay after the battle. The druid, still in shock, asks if that is his new summon, and the guy nods. The bard comments that a level 1 summon defeating the boss is a terrifying sight. The guy admits that even he didn't know the creature's damage would be so high and is surprised. The druid explains that the boss is a dark attribute, and the unicorn is light and ice, which is why the damage was so high. He then understands the reason for the massive damage, and the demonic creature squeezes him tightly. A notification congratulates the group for defeating the boss, and the screen turns blue for a moment. The trio looks at the screen in shock, unable to believe they actually managed to beat the challenge. The screen evaluates the rewards and informs them they will receive a hidden piece of equipment as a bonus. A golden light envelops the MC, and he wonders what this special reward is. Suddenly, he is teleported to a dark place and wonders where he is now. Just then, a purple cube with several demonic faces appears floating in front of him. The screen informs that it is the Purgatory Spirit Cube, an exclusive piece of equipment for summoners. The guy is confused because the legendary item gives negative attack and defense stats. He then looks closer and realizes there's more information about the item on the screen. The screen shows that he can seal the souls of enemies and summon them for battle. The young man is shocked by the ability and wonders what that really means in practice. A purple light shines in the place, and the MC turns to see the soul of the defeated boss. With a swift movement, the soul is sucked into the magic cube he's holding. A notification confirms that the boss's soul was successfully collected by the new item. With a wicked smile, he thinks he can collect souls and gets excited about the new ability. But suddenly, a giant wolf attacks him from behind, catching him completely by surprise. The druid tackles him to the ground and he calls her name, not understanding his companion's action. With a mocking smile, she sits on top of him and asks if he was scared by the attack. He complains that he thought it was another monster and asks why she turned into a wolf if she was a cat. She then teases him and says he's not the only one who got a hidden piece of equipment because she did too. She shows him a necklace called the Phoenix Feather, an epic piece of equipment exclusive to druids. He complains that her item doubles attack and agility and seems to be better than his. The screen shows that the item allows her to transform into a wolf, a bear, and even a phoenix fighter. With that, the MC is shocked and asks, "What the heck is a phoenix fighter?" She says she doesn't know either and that she can't use it freely because it has side effects. Suddenly, the bard comes running and yells her friends' names to get their attention. She then appears with a purple hat and a small fairy floating by her side. The MC asks what that is, and she approaches with the druid holding him closely. She says that now she can protect them too, and the fairy glows with a powerful purple energy. The small purple fairy sits on the bard's hat and seems very happy with her new companion. The bard says that the new equipment she got seems to be very powerful. The screen informs that it's Sakron's magic hat, a rare item that is part of a set. The guy asks who Sakron is and why he's never heard of that name before. The druid suggests they ask the teacher after they leave the dungeon. The item summons a protective spirit that triples magical effects and actively attacks. The MC wonders if the fairy is the so-called Sakron and looks at the item's status screen. The small fairy sits on the hat, and the guy comments that the item's passive ability is incredible. He then holds his cube and thinks that compared to her item, his is much weaker. With their new summons, the group prepares to continue their journey through the dungeon. He hugs his summons and companions and says it was lucky they were there to help him. But the unicorn approaches the druid and starts rubbing its head against her affectionately. The druid can't resist and starts petting the creature, complaining that it won't leave her alone. The MC then says they should get out of there, as the dungeon's difficulty has increased a lot. With that, he opens the menu screen and presses the button to exit the dungeon as quickly as possible. The group is enveloped in a blue light and begins to be teleported out of the dungeon. A pillar of blue light forms on the ground, and the trio finally manages to leave the black abyss. Outside, the portal is still unstable, and several adventurers are lying on the ground. The adventurers are surprised to see someone come out of the dungeon and comment on the girl's beauty. One of them is completely smitten and gets a nosebleed upon seeing the druid's beauty. The MC is confused by everyone's reaction and doesn't understand what's happening. He then turns to see what they're looking at and is completely shocked by the scene. A girl with blue hair and white clothes appears floating with an aura of power around her. The guy gets such a bad nosebleed that he can barely speak from the girl's beauty. With a sweet voice, she asks if her master doesn't recognize her and slowly approaches him. Shocked, he asks if she is the unicorn and gets another nosebleed upon confirmation. Meanwhile, in a healing center, a man screams desperately, calling for the teacher. The teacher turns around worried and asks what happened, telling him to speak slowly. The student explains that someone just came out of the black abyss, and the teacher asks if there are any injured. With a serious look, the teacher grabs him by the shoulder and says they need to go there, as there's no time to lose. The teacher and the student then rush towards the portal to see what happened in the dungeon. The student reports that they have no injuries and are alive, and the teacher is shocked by the news. Suddenly, a notification appears for all the teachers and adventurers who were there. The screen congratulates the group for completing the Black Abyss on Nightmare difficulty. The unicorn girl then approaches and greets her master with a sweet and calm voice. The MC panics and tells her not to get so close to him in such an intimate way. She looks sad and asks if he doesn't want her anymore, but he says if she has something to say, just say it. The bard asks the druid if she's seeing this, and the white-haired girl looks embarrassed. With a red and irritated face, the druid approaches and tries to ignore the awkward scene. She transforms into her wolf form and calls the MC's name with a furious voice. With a swipe of her claws, she attacks him and calls him a pervert, making him scream in pain. Sitting on the ground and crying, the bard asks if he's okay and if he wants her to heal him. He says she's the best and complains that the druid is too violent, unlike her. The bard says it's normal for team members to help each other and smiles gently. The druid hugs the unicorn girl and mutters jealously about their interaction. The creature moves away from her, and the guy asks what's wrong with his summon. Suddenly, a group of men in suits approaches, and everyone falls silent at their presence. One of the adventurers recognizes the group's leader and says it's the school principal. The MC and the druid recognize him as Feng Yun and wonder what he's doing there. The bard then shouts and waves at them, getting the attention of the group of important men. The principal and his men turn towards the group and approach with a serious and imposing look. Suddenly, the MC and his companions are surrounded by several shadowy figures. The principal approaches and stops for a moment, observing the scene in silence before acting. Suddenly, they are teleported to a forest, and the teacher approaches the MC. The teacher tells them to be quiet and not let anyone notice them there. But the druid gets scared and yells, asking who they are and what they're doing there. The MC calms her down and explains that the man is their class teacher. The student who called the teacher approaches and starts talking to the unicorn girl. The teacher asks the MC what's going on, and he explains that the abyss is in chaos. With a furious look, the teacher says that the one responsible for all this is probably the MC. Shocked, the guy points to himself and asks if the teacher is talking to him. The teacher then asks if he made the contract with the unicorn inside the black abyss. The guy innocently confirms and asks how the teacher found out about the contract. The teacher gets irritated and thinks that the old man who gave him the mission completely tricked him. He then grabs the MC and yells that he's finished, and the guy asks what they should do. Just then, the shadowy figures find them and say they've finally found them. The group of men in suits surrounds the MC and his companions in the forest. The principal then orders his men to arrest the group without any explanation. The men in suits advance to carry out the order, and the MC doesn't know what to do. The teacher gets scared and asks who they are and what they want with his students. The principal ignores him and with a look of contempt tells him to get out of the way immediately. The teacher then confronts him and asks if they aren't students of that school. The MC is shocked to realize that the teacher and the principal are disciples. The principal declares that from this moment on, they are no longer students and are expelled. The trio panics and can't believe they've been expelled from school for no reason. With a furious shout, the principal points at them and reaffirms that they are expelled. The druid gets angry and asks on what grounds he is making that absurd decision. With a look of contempt, the principal says that he is the principal, and that's reason enough. The MC confronts him and asks if it isn't unreasonable to expel them without investigating the truth. The teacher defends him and says that even as the principal, he can't arrest people for no reason. He continues and says that the guy has an S-rank talent, a rare prodigy to find. The principal yells for him to get out of the way and says that he doesn't understand and needs to take them. With a desperate look, he thinks that if he doesn't hurry, it will be too late for everyone. The teacher refuses to move and stands in front of his students to protect them. Suddenly, the principal stops and says to wait, as he seems to have heard something on his communicator. He then turns and looks into the forest as if he's waiting for someone to arrive. The MC and his companions look on, confused, not understanding what's happening. From the forest, a shadow emerges and slowly approaches the arguing group. A little blonde girl in gothic clothes appears with two guards and compliments the guy's appearance. The MC is confused and asks if she's his younger sister, and she gets angry. The girl yells that she is Jingyao, daughter of the royal family of Dupan, and glares at him furiously. The guy is confused and says he's never heard of the royal family of Dupan. The principal explains that the suspects are in custody and that they will take them for questioning, but the princess interrupts him and says it won't be necessary and orders him to release them. One of the guards shows a scroll and says it's to teleport them to the Black Abyss. The teacher is shocked and says that the secret dungeon will appear in a few days and that they have the scroll, but he worries because the dungeon has a high recommended level and the guy would end up getting wiped out. The princess approaches the MC, calls him a peasant, and grabs his hand tightly. She then orders him to join the royal family's Black Abyss exploration team. But to everyone's surprise, the guy simply says he's not interested in the offer. With a furious and dark look, the princess yells and asks what he just said. The principal intervenes and says he needs to take him back because he's still his student. The princess gets annoyed and complains about being interrupted while she was talking to him. The guard confronts her and asks if the principal didn't expel them, but he says the process wasn't completed. With a threatening look, the guard asks if the principal is challenging the royal family's orders. The principal starts to sweat under the pressure and threat from the princess's guard. The bard approaches her captain and asks what they should do in this situation. The princess reminds him that many eyes are on him now that he has completed the nightmare dungeon. With a determined look, the MC seems to be thinking about his final decision on the matter. He turns to his companions, who look at him worriedly about the decision he will make. With no other option, the guy declares that he will join the royal family's exploration team. He explains that if they stay, they'll be caught, and it's better to take a risk and go with the princess. With a confident smile, the princess approaches approaches him and asks what he thinks of the proposal. The teacher tries to stop him and says he can't go because he would be risking his life. With a determined look, the guy looks at the teacher and seems decided on his choice. He then turns to the princess and confirms that he will join the exploration team. The bard gets worried and says that if he goes, she'll go with him to help on the journey. With the decision made, everyone starts to laugh and celebrate the new union between the groups. The guard then approaches the principal and asks him to release the students now that everything is resolved. With a sigh of defeat, the principal agrees and tells his men to release the group. The teacher despairs and says that the principal needs to stop them from going to the dungeon. The principal scolds him and says that he was the one holding them back and that now they're on their own. The teacher is shocked and speechless at his superior's response. A man approaches and introduces himself as the captain of the royal guard, and his name is Zuo Sheng. He then points to the princess's guard and says that she is Lucy, the family's head butler. With the team formed, the princess orders everyone to follow her, and they begin to walk. A blue teleportation portal begins to form in front of the group as they prepare for the journey. With an intense glow, everyone is teleported to a new location that appears to be a palace. Upon arriving, they are greeted by several maids who bow to the princess. The group then enters the palace and is welcomed by a luxurious and detailed hall. The MC is impressed by the extravagance and wonders if this is how royalty lives. The bard approaches her friend and asks if she also feels that something is wrong there. Suddenly, the two of them panic and turn around, startled by the unexpected situation. They realize they are surrounded by guards, and the druid asks what they are doing. With a wicked smile, the princess says that new students are very easy to fool. She then asks Lucy to do as planned, and the guard prepares for action. Just then, several red tentacles emerge and restrain the two guards, who are shocked. The demonic creature appears and glares at them with a wicked smile and bright red eyes. The MC asks the princess what she's planning, and she's surprised that he noticed. With a dark look, the princess glares at the guy and seems to be planning something evil. With a snap of his fingers, the MC makes his creature's tentacles move. The tentacles tighten around the guards, leaving them breathless and unable to move. The guy explains that he noticed they were tense and ready to fight at any moment. The princess praises his observation but asks why he released the guards if he already knew. He explains that this is their home turf, and that if they fought, both sides would suffer serious injuries. With a confident smile, the princess says her level is much higher and they would be defeated. The guard then bows and apologizes, saying the princess only wanted to test his strength. The druid and the bard are annoyed by the princess's attitude and glare at her angrily. Before leaving, the guard invites them to a lunch prepared by the royal family for them. The group then follows the princess and her guards to the palace's dining hall. The druid approaches her captain and says they don't seem friendly and that they can fight. He says that although he acted, he guarantees that in that situation, the two of them would have fallen first. With that, he tells them to go and that they will see what the princess is planning. They then enter the hall, and the MC asks what those paintings on the wall are. The guard explains that it's the history of the DuPont royalty, and the guy is curious. The princess explains that the royalty has existed for thousands of years and that the founder was a summoner. She continues and says that they lost the final battle to seal the Black Abyss in the past. She points to a painting and says that her great-grandfather's soul was shattered in the battle. With that, the connection of the summoners was broken and the class was seen as useless. She then reveals that he is the only S-class summoner to appear in 1,000 years. They enter the dining hall and the girls realize that their target is Lin Tianhao. The guy complains that they are reading too many novels and that they won't use him as a sacrifice. He looks at the table and is shocked by the number of maids and the decoration of the place. The two girls are also impressed by the luxury and wealth of the palace. Sitting at the table, he asks how he can help them, and the princess explains the situation. She says that the secret dungeon contains clues and that he is the key to finding that clue. The guard says that with their help, there will be no problems and that the rewards will be his. The guard captain comments that they are not weak and that they can clear the dungeon. The MC gets annoyed and asks how he knows they have crystal equipment. The princess explains that the bard's hat is a relic and the strongest hat of a set. The bard hugs her hat, shocked to discover that it is actually a sage's relic. The princess says she will explain the rest on the way and that it's time for them to leave for the mission. The MC is startled by the rush and tells her to wait as they just finished eating. With a snap of her fingers, a purple teleportation circle appears on the hall floor. At the princess's call, Lucy and the others position themselves in the circle for the journey. All the team members gather in the magic circle and prepare for teleportation. The guard captain asks if they are ready as the teleportation is beginning. With that, Lucy kneels and places her hand on the floor to activate the scroll's power. A purple energy surrounds her and her eyes glow with an immense and frightening power. The scroll opens and releases a purple energy that begins to suck everyone into it. The two girls scream in fright as they are pulled by the force of the teleportation portal. The purple energy fills the entire hall and a large portal begins to open in the place. An intense light shines from the portal and creates a passage to a dark and mysterious place. A large gate opens, revealing a vortex of cosmic energy and bright stars. The guard and the captain say they will wait on the other side and enter the portal without hesitation. With that, the princess turns to the MC and asks if he's ready for the journey. The MC and his companions look at the portal with a suspicious and worried look. The princess notices their hesitation and asks if they still don't trust her and her group. She then says she hopes he sees the bigger picture and understands the importance of the mission. The bard approaches her friend and asks what they should do in this situation. The druid remains silent for a moment, her face flushed and a bit awkward at the scene. With a determined look, the guy tells them to go as they have no other choice. The two girls look at him, surprised by their captain's sudden decision. With a smile, he says they are strong and that it's good if they can be carried. He then assures them that as long as he's alive, neither of them will get hurt on the journey. With flushed cheeks, the two girls look at him, charmed by his determination. The trio then walks towards the portal while elsewhere, the Golden Lion Union gathers. In a meeting room, a man runs in and yells that he has bad news for the boss. He informs them that the secret dungeon has been cleared and the level 80 boss has been defeated. The other members are shocked and wonder if it was the MC's group that accomplished the feat. One of the members gets angry and says they stole the rewards and that he will get them back. But the leader scolds him and tells him to calm down, as they are out of the dungeon. His sister complains that the mission failed because of Lin Tianhao and asks if they will let him go. The leader remains silent for a moment with an expression of anger and frustration. Suddenly, a laugh echoes through the room, and everyone turns to see who is arriving. A voice says he is glad they are so loyal, and a mysterious figure appears. A man in extravagant clothes and a mask approaches the group with a smile. The leader and his companions greet him and respectfully call him president. He then offers them a chance to redeem themselves with a scroll for the secret dungeon. He explains that there are countless rewards inside and that everyone will come out much stronger. They are shocked because the dungeon is high level and the level difference is too great. The president explains that the great families will fight for treasures and their union can't stay out of the fight. Upon hearing this, Murong Yu's group is completely shocked and starts sweating nervously. He admits they are too weak for the Rift Valley Black Abyss, but that he has a solution. With a wicked look, he asks what they think of a little help to get stronger. With that, a dark purple energy explodes from him and begins to fill the entire meeting room. The nobleman is shocked and scared by the dark energy that begins to envelop him and his friends. The vortex of power intensifies, and the group begins to scream in pain from the forced transformation. Inside the energy, their silhouettes contort and change shape in a bizarre and frightening way. With a bouquet of roses, the president calmly watches as the others agonize on the floor with the power. Murong Yu and his team are completely enveloped by the energy that seems to transform them into something new. With his face covered by a dark mask, the nobleman now looks much more powerful and threatening. A large explosion occurs and the group is transformed by the president's dark power. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a beam of blue light cuts through the darkness as the teleportation happens. The MC and his companions appear falling into a strange place and wonder where they are. The trio then lands in a desert canyon, and the guy looks around with a suspicious air. He realizes they are in the Rift Valley Black Abyss, an extremely dangerous place. The place is gigantic with huge cliffs and flying creatures soaring in the distant sky. The princess then appears next to the guy and praises him, saying she knew he was a wise man. With a smug smile, she says it seems that all the legends about the place are true. Not understanding anything, the MC asks what she's talking about and what she means by that. The princess sits on a rock observing the slightly confused MC. She then shows a purple card and says she can do something about the legends of the place. The guy takes the card, and a screen reveals it to be a legendary summoning card of the Shadow Legion. Surprised, he asks if she's really giving him such a precious item just like that. The princess explains that no one else can use it and that it's better to strengthen the group's power. With the card in his hand, the MC analyzes it for a moment, thinking about what to do. With a determined look, he concentrates to activate the power of the new item he received. At that moment, the card begins to glow with a powerful purple energy in his hand. He is then enveloped in a dark smoke as the card's summoning begins. From the smoke emerge three masked women in very revealing outfits and a mysterious air. The MC is shocked, his face all red, saying their bodies are explosive. Amidst roses, the three women strike a very provocative pose for their new master. At the scene, the guy gets such a bad nosebleed that he ends up falling back and fainting. The druid tries to wake him up while the princess yells for him to wake up because he's bleeding a lot. He gets up, wiping his nose, and comments that the legendary card is very strong and huge. The druid helps him sit up while the new summons surround him with glowing eyes. Two of them approach and call him master, but he says he can't handle so much closeness. The guard captain watches the scene with a serious expression, surprised by the summons, but suddenly several yellow energy beams cut through the air towards the group. A swordsman launches an attack and the captain yells for the MC to watch out for the blow. With the sudden attack, the two girls are completely shocked and don't understand the situation. The guard then rushes forward and protects the princess, yelling for her to be careful. The MC then says that as expected, they are just rookies for not having noticed the danger. But suddenly the guy notices something approaching and becomes alert to the new threat. Out of nowhere, a giant dust cloud appears, and the bard asks what that thing is. The swordsman explains that they are furious demonic hedgehogs, level 30 monsters. The bard is completely shocked and terrified to discover discover the monster's high level. But the swordsman tells them to calm down, as this is just the beginning of the battle. With that, the hedgehogs start rolling at high speed towards the group to attack. The guard then prepares for battle with a serious and determined look on her face. Without hesitation, she charges at high speed to intercept one of the approaching monsters. With her two weapons, she fires several shots at the hedgehog, trying to stop it with her attacks. However, the monster suddenly reveals a giant tooth-filled mouth on its back. The guard crosses her arms and manages to block the monster's attack at the last second. Just then, a large explosion occurs, and the swordsman charges to attack another monster. One of the hedgehogs then charges towards the MC, who barely dodges the attack. With a determined look, he orders his slime to attack but seems to hesitate a bit. Suddenly, one of his new summons leaps into the air with a giant golden hammer. She then hits the monster squarely with a devastating blow, crushing it with the hammer. The guy stands there watching the scene as the summon lands on the defeated monster. The other monsters then advance and prepare to crush the swordsman, who is on the ground. But suddenly, the princess extends her hands and casts a green energy spell to protect him. With that, the spell creates an energy shield that blocks the monster's attack at the last second. The MC wonders if that is a shield and if the princess has a defense class. The princess then concentrates and seems to be manipulating the energy with her hands. Suddenly, a large explosion of red energy occurs on the battlefield. With a swift move, the princess manages to dodge the attack and protect herself from the explosion. She then reveals herself to be a psychic, and the guy wonders if she can hear his thoughts. The MC looks at his friends, who seem to be completely scared by the situation. The guard then approaches and says that the most important thing now is to eliminate the new threat. The guy is confused and doesn't understand what the princess's guard is talking about at that moment, but his eyes widen in fear as he sees the new creature that appears in front of them. A giant dark monster with red eyes appears, glaring at them with pure malice. The screen reveals it to be an elite boar king, level 30 with 5,000 HP and 220 agility. The girls panic because to defeat it, an adventurer needs to be at least 5 levels higher. The monster charges, and the MC wonders if it's too late for him to go home. With his glowing sword, the swordsman prepares to face the giant monster alone. He charges at high speed towards the boar king to intercept its attack. The guard also jumps and starts shooting at the monster with her 2 pistols to help, but the bullets ricochet off the monster's skin without causing any damage. The princess then uses a fire spell and launches a giant fireball towards the monster. With a large explosion, the attack hits the boar king squarely, causing considerable damage. The MC watches the battle from afar and sees that the royal group is in trouble. The monster's HP bar barely moved, and it seems to be completely unharmed after the attack. The guy comments that if they continue like this, it will take them at least 2 hours to defeat it. He wonders if the monster is really so strong that the royals can't handle it. With a frustrated look, the guy observes the battle, thinking of a new strategy. The swordsman then says he can't cut the monster's skin because it's too tough. The princess approaches the guy and says that's why they called him there, and the young man asks if it's because of them. With a smile, she explains that to kill a defensive monster, they need to break its defense. While they talk, the swordsman and the guard continue to attack the monster without success. The MC understands that the shadow army can enter any hole to attack it from the inside. The princess confirms and says that he is the only one who can defeat the monster in this situation. Just then, the guard warns that they can't hold on any longer, and the princess prepares for action. She explains that changing the form of the shadow army requires a very strong psychic power. With a determined look, the MC says he understands what he needs to do to win. He then asks his companions to give him cover, and a golden aura surrounds him. The druid transforms into her spirit wolf form, ready to help her captain. With that, the guard captain attacks the giant monster with his glowing and powerful sword. The MC's summon also leaps and attacks the monster with its electric hammer. With a huge explosion, the electric hammer hits the monster squarely, sending it flying. The princess screams in shock because he learned to strengthen the shadow weapon on his own. Just then, the other summons charge forward and enter the monster's mouth to attack it from the inside. The boar king starts to sweat and feel intense pain from the internal attack of the summons. With an explosion of purple energy, the monster's body begins to disintegrate from the inside. The swordsman is shocked and wonders if the monster was really defeated in an instant. The MC celebrates and says he didn't expect the shadow army to be so useful. The guards can't believe it and say it's impossible for him to control the army with such proficiency. The princess plays it off and says she hasn't even mentioned the shadow army's scouting capabilities yet. She explains that the shadow ink can traverse any landscape and that no one has learned this. The guy then turns to the summon and asks what she said about the ability. Just then, the princess screams in shock and asks how he managed to draw the map of the place already. The young man analyzes the map and asks why it's incomplete and where the rest is. She explains that the abyss opens every 500 years and that's why they don't have the complete map, and that the army's level is low and only explores 3,000 meters, but that it's already the largest map in years. The guard then wonders if that means the ancient prophecy is coming true. With a nod, the princess seems to agree with her guard's idea. She then turns to the guy and asks what level his summoning book is. The MC scratches his head and confusedly asks what a summoning book is, as he's never heard of it. The guard gets annoyed and explains that it's the book you get get when you register and asks if he doesn't have one. He explains that he doesn't know any associations and shows the book his teacher gave him. The swordsman asks if he cleared the nightmare dungeon with that book and if he is the genius from the rumors. The princess then offers him a book and tells him to take it, as she has one there. The guy thanks her but asks how he can use the new book she gave him. She then instructs him to inject his magic into the book so he can activate it. With that, he concentrates and begins to inject his mana into the book to see what happens. Just then, the gem on the book's cover begins to glow with an intense light, and the guy asks what's inside. The gem shines with a red and golden light, releasing a powerful and mysterious energy. The princess is completely shocked, her face red with surprise at the book's reaction. The royal group then kneels and swears eternal loyalty to the newly emerged Summoner Lord. The MC is shocked and sweating from the unexpected reaction of the royal group. A red light comes out of the book and hits the MC, enveloping him in a powerful energy. His friends are completely shocked and don't understand what's happening to him. With a burst of energy, the book begins to float and open in front of the guy. With a golden light shining in his eyes, he wonders, what is that thing? His eyes glow with the light and he sees various images of monsters and magical creatures. Inside the book, he sees images of a plant spider, a stone golem, and a water monster. He then realizes that the book has recorded all the information about his summons. With the red energy surrounding him, he observes the book as it floats and turns its pages. One of the pages shows the complete stats of his demonic slime with all its abilities. The MC reads the book and realizes that it contains detailed information about his slime. He turns the page and sees the stats of the ice unicorn and understands that the book records all his summons. The druid then calls his name, seeming a bit worried about his reaction to the book. But the guy is impressed and thinks that with that item, it's like having an encyclopedia of his powers. The princess, still kneeling, asks the Summoner Lord if something is wrong, and he says he's fine. With that, the young man orders everyone to stand up and asks them to explain what they know about that book. The swordsman then says that they don't know how to use it, and that the item was left by an ancient sage. The princess says that after a great battle, information about summoners was lost and they disappeared. She reveals that the book circulated for 500 years until her grandfather found it and kept it as a treasure. With a sad look, the girl says that her grandfather researched it his whole life and only managed to make the gem glow a little.